Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Companion. I'm Peter. You guys, welcome to a very special bonus episode. On this episode, I have guest Cobra Kai Wisdom, Mike P. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, Peter. Great to see you as always. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Yeah, always a pleasure to have you on. We're here to talk about a couple different opportunities that both you and I got to participate in. We're going to talk about my set visit in episode 606. I've talked about it on a number of episodes and hadn't gotten around to it until, you know what, recently you attended the final premiere, the series finale premiere.
Yes.
And I thought that, we can kind of combine these two episodes, go over our pictures, our videos, talk about these two special nights. But sir, you just did a stream tonight. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to some of these things. You shared your thoughts about season three, but just to hear a little bit about, just to hear your words, give me like a few sentences about your thoughts of season three of and how it wrapped up, or I'm sorry, season six, part three.
Yeah, part three. My overall takeaway is that I just felt a sense of completion, and it felt that the show really came home. And when I say that, I mean like it came back to the feeling that I had in season one. Like it really brought us back to the core characters, the core story, and what Cobra Kai was supposed to be about way back in 2018 when season one came out. Since then we've expanded over the seasons, different stories, more and more characters. But this one, these past last episodes, the last five episodes in particular, really brought it back to the home, and I thought they just hit a home run with it.
Sorry, I was just adjusting my mic for those that are listening at home. Also, it actually this might suit better for video because of the content we'll be sharing, but we'll try to be as descriptive as we can for those that the preference is listening at home, obviously. And so to kind of celebrate the series end, I thought we would do something a little bit different. Sir, do you have a drink with you to join me in a beverage for this recording?
As Mitch asked, I'm going to pretend you didn't ask me that. Yes, I've got my classic Coors Banquet here. Never leave home without them. And as I told you on my live stream, this is a very special Coors Banquet because this was purchased at a convenience store with you in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, just after Steel City Con. You and I had purchased a six pack of Coors Banquet, thinking we were going to have folks over to our place. Instead, you and I ended up going out to karaoke, having a great time, but the beers never got drunk. So I brought them home to
Right.
me since I wasn't flying. So here's to Steel City Con once again.
Yes. So I have my it's funny you mentioned Monroeville because you did kind of take care of the logistics of our lodging and such. I completely forgot we stayed in Monroeville. So I picked up a beverage myself. I'm going to ask you to guess what it is, but I'm going to give you two clues, and I think you should be able to figure it out. Okay, so the occasion for me is to discuss my visit to the set on 606 and also my favorite character. So you take those two things that you know and guess what drink I might be partaking in tonight.
Well, you're a big Chosen fan. 606. I gotta go with a Long Island iced tea.
There it is, a Long Island iced tea in a can.
Look at the in a can.
Uh,
Very nice.
I didn't want to make I didn't want to buy like, two different bottles, and I guess they have pre-made ones in bottles too, but I'm not a drinker really.
Yeah.
Um So I got like a four pack. So cheers to you, sir. Cheers to Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai never dies. Cheers to all the friends that we've made. Because of this show from all around the world, our companions, our admins, and moderators. Shout outs to all of them for helping me with everything throughout the years. Your guys' continued support and all of that. So cheers, for those that maybe paused and ran to grab a drink. Hopefully you'll have some with us and have some fun.
Cheers. Here, here.
Mm. I don't know if I would have two though. So We'll see
Yes,
how
I may
loopy I
be
get.
ending this podcast on my own if you're really going the long iced tea route, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm
I'm
happy to
not,
be
I'm not,
here.
I'm not double fisting. So, um, all right. So, again, for those that are listening at home, I don't know what this is going to look like in the finished product, but our hope is for you to be able to see us, but also see our shared folders with our images and videos in them. So, we're going to go in chronological order. So we're going to start off with my set visit, and we already, the show's ended, right? So we're going to start with the set visit to 606, my visit to the Georgia Aquarium where they filmed the kicking sequence between Quan and Robbie, and then we'll after that we will switch it to Mike. You will be, um, I'm going to be navigating, but you will be sharing your experience at the finale's final premiere in LA.
Yes.
So. All right, so now I will be sharing the screen and hopefully, and you guys, Mike's been so patient with me. I think we've been on for like an hour, without even recording, uh, trying to
All right.
figure out how to work all of this.
All right. So I can
Yeah.
share here. So, well, so tell me
Oh yeah,
how
you're going
this,
first. That's right.
yes. So tell me how this site visit came to be and
Okay.
why it was decided, of all the different episodes, why you would be going to 606, which is in part two.
Right. Are you currently sharing? You're not, right? You're
Not
just
yet.
asking me. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I just want to have my notes up for a bit. Um, because the show had been officially announced that it was going to end with 6 seasons, and I had visited prior to the filming of season three, I reached out and said if there might be any possibility that I could make a return at some point to check out the sets again. I had no, I wasn't looking to like be an extra. I wasn't looking to come and watch any filming. I was thinking, like, hey, before you guys start filming season six, that was my intention. And so I reached out to the powers that be and say like, and I just asked them that, like, hey, with the show ending, is there any opportunity for me to possibly come back and visit again, kind of deal? And we made arrangements. And then the strikes happened.
Right.
It sucked, and the problem was my lodging. Those arrangements had already been made. I had already made purchased my plane ticket, and so I ended up going still. And when I was down there, most of like the cast and crew were gone. So I did get to hang out with some people down there. I met up with Matt Lewis. I met up with Caroline Granger. We
Right.
we had dinner, the three of us, and I got to hang out with Craig, who plays Dieter, and also I have to kind of keep the names straight. I hung out with Xander Serrano, who plays Dirk. So he
Dirk.
plays
Yes.
Dirk. Yeah, yeah. He was one of the Eagle Fang members. I don't know if he made it to Miyagi though. I think he did. I'm kind of forgetting now. God, it only took one sip. Um, so I hung out with them. They took me hiking. We had a good time. Xavier and his girlfriend and me, we went to like a lounge one night for drinks and listen to music. Had a good time. And then I think, excuse me, earlier that day we actually went out for like Korean food and I made them try things that they hadn't tried before. I was a little surprised because like Xander is actually kind of around my son's age. And my son is 24 going on 25, so he's kind of the same age as a lot of like kind of the seasons one through maybe four background competitors, right?
Yes.
And so he's kind of their age, and like I didn't feel any sort of age difference. Xander is very humble, and he's kind of beyond his years. But yeah, him and his girlfriend were very kind, and yeah, so I ended up making the best of it. And I also had coffee with Curtis Bonspicker, a photographer of Cobra Kai. I don't believe our picture is in this folder, but yeah, I had coffee with him, and I went back and saw the original dojo location, right? And so you went there, I think, just weeks before me, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think our paths crossed just a couple of weeks
I believe so.
apart.
That sounds about right. Yeah. So I went to the old location, and it's nothing like we saw in part three. And I took a few, footages and some pictures from different angles, some of which had made it onto social media. I took one kind of like panning shot of like that the area where Johnny was fighting like all the teenagers in front of the convenience store, and then I added that clip to that footage. And I have another one where I'm standing basically in front of the dojo and looking out into the street saying, "Is that lady flashing her bits?" So I have that. I haven't done anything with it yet. We'll see if that actually surfaces. And yeah, that was pretty much my stay because that was also right before I went to New York to meet up with Mikey, and then we went to the Back to the Future musical on Broadway. It
Yes.
was opening night. Yeah, so that was that week. And so yeah, bummed out because of the strikes. Wasn't able to go down, but once production resumed up again, I reached back out. Hey, like if that still stands, I would love to cash that in, and absolutely, and my baby sister, today's her birthday actually, she was getting married in Texas. And so I said, "Hey, I will be going to Texas this week. Would this week work?" And they said, "Yeah, actually that'll work." Get in touch with such and such and coordinate, and that was pretty much it. I don't remember the time frame from when that was set up to me showing up, but I remember before I arrived in Georgia, I was reaching out to so many people that I had personal phone numbers to that I reach out that way when I'm like setting up interviews, and I would say like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in town. I'm gonna be visiting the set." One person even like, "Did you get clearance?" I'm like, "Well, I'm kind of like I'm being given the permission to come." They're like, "Oh, okay, well, cool. Maybe I'll see you." So I've got some of those, and I got a lot of people that didn't respond, and I was starting to get kind of anxiety. I'm just like, "Oh no, like I'm gonna show up and like I'm not gonna be able to get a hold of anybody," but I had never seen anything filmed ever in my life, right? So I had no idea what it's like to be on set, and I get down there, and the first evening. Um, I had already reached out to Yuji Okamoto. I had reached out and asked him like, "Hey, do you think you might have some time for dinner at any point, during these days, that I'll be there?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure," and he was able to meet up with me the night that I flew in. So basically, when I flew in, I had very little time to like I don't remember if I even went to go check in. I may have. Like it's memory's a little fuzzy. It's definitely not in my notes that like I went to go check in, where I was staying and then drove down. But
Yeah.
we ended up having dinner, and before I saw him, he was like, "Hey, would you be cool if I invited like two of my friends?" And I've heard this before. Like
Hmm.
John Hurwitz, like, "Hey, let's talk about the move to our new home, but couldn't say Netflix at the time." And then like the day of that we find out it's Netflix, he's like, "Hey, you mind if we have two, maybe a couple guests on?" So like I wasn't thinking Ralph and Billy, but I was just like, it'd be cool if it was still one of them and like somebody else. But I wasn't, expecting like one of his personal friends, Ned Luke, Grand Theft Auto fame. I'm not a gamer, so I had no idea like how big he is in particularly in the gaming community. He got recognized during dinner. And then the other one was Carsten Norgard. So like when he showed up, I'm like, shit, Gunther. Gunther's here.
Yes.
Like, what?
Well, that's a great segue to your first photo
Yeah. Okay. Looks
of
like we
the four of you.
there it is. There's a shared screen. So hopefully you guys see all three windows, me, Mike, and the image slash video. And if you only see the content, that's fine. But yeah, that's the thing we were trying to like iron out before we went live. We wanted to make sure something was recorded. Um,
Yes.
yeah. And so that is one of the photos. This is just right after dinner. So this is at a Thai place over Atlantic Station. Yuji picked this place, and it sounds like a place that some of the cast and crew frequent. So yeah, I kind of showed up and I was like, "Oh yeah, reservations for like Yuji Okamoto," and she was just like looking through the list, and she's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Oh no." But yeah,
Chosen. Come on, chosen.
yeah, Cobra Kai, Friday, wax on, wax off. No, but yeah, and like just moments later, they walked up the steps, and I'm just thinking, like, man, I am like in the presence of like some acting titans here. I did
Yeah,
talk to Carson a little bit about like Mighty Ducks 2, and obviously I had no idea if he was even in part one, part two. He couldn't share any of that stuff, and
sure.
so Yeah, and I was, man, part two Gunther was everything. You know, he was kind of like one of those unsung heroes. You're like, holy shit, man, he's got some layers here that we don't know about. I think part two Gunther is the best. Part three would be second, and then like everything else is like behind that. So I really love what they did with him in part two.
Yeah, so when you saw him here, if this was just as 606 was getting started, this is when Gunther was really getting started. He was a little bit in
Correct.
part one just on the video, but this is before he started, his character really started to flourish and develop.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So I had a good time. I don't remember what anybody had, but you know, again, the previous year, you know, there was a strike, and so um, there was a you know, all three are veteran actors, and so there was a lot of shop talk, and
Yeah.
you know, several times throughout the evening, I think we must have ate for at least 2 hours, and throughout the evening, they would like constantly look at me and apologize, like, "Sorry, you know, the actors," and I'm like, "No, no, no, it's totally cool. Like, I'm a union member. And I'm hearing what you guys are saying about what's going on and your concerns, and like, it's fine. Like, I'm just happy to be here." You know, like
Yeah,
that was really it. Like
absolutely.
I'm like Yuji responded to me, and there were so many other people that I'm like I haven't heard from, you know, that kind of deal. So yeah, really fun night. And I think yeah, after dinner, I went back to where I was staying.
Very cool. All right.
So you gave me the heads up that Miyagi-Do was the gates were closed, everything was pretty much shut down. And for those that don't know, yeah, they got a new location where they rebuilt like stages and stuff. So the exterior of Miyagi-Do that is still there, and they only go there to film when they need that location.
That's pretty cool.
All right,
Uh,
so I drove to Stages to meet up with the assistant Kyle Savali, who also co-wrote Rattled, episode 612. And so I was in correspondence with him, on the phone with him, also text messaging with him. Joe Pioroli, he was also there to welcome me. And I would find out that Joe co-wrote 606. So that was also another thing. Um, this I can say now because obviously the show is, you know, all the episodes are out. Um, on my way to go see Frank Helmer, costume head, costume, you know, wardrobe head, costume department. He on our way there, Joe got stopped by the prop master, who we learned is Eric Bates. If you guys read the article or whatever it was about the Terry Silver magazine cover that never got used,
yes.
right? So he comes up to Joe, and I don't know who this guy is, this gentleman, and but when I found out it's Eric Bates, I knew that he was the prop master for Obliterated. So that name rang a bell.
Ah,
And he comes up to Joe and he's all like, "Oh, what color do you want the crib to be?" And I looked over at Joe. I go, "Crib." You know, like I was kind of geeking out. I was like, "It's happening.
yeah.
Johnny and Carmen's gonna have a fucking baby," and I just thought it was so cool. And I thought it would come in part six. So I think why the prop master goes to Joe is because we would find out Joe directed 611. So they were probably getting stuff ready. But no, yeah, because 611 is where we see the crib in his episode where he
Yep.
directed
That's
and
all.
co-wrote. Yeah.
Come back to the valley.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
got you and Una.
Oh, right. Yes. So Una, let's see if I got a note here. Ran into Una. She was headed to the shooting location, and I think she was just getting done with class because at this point Una's still under 18. And so for the kids that are under 18, they have like classes and stuff like that in between filming and whatnot. So when she came out running out of the room and passes me as I'm coming through these other doors to basically a big open space, we caught each other. I recognized her, and she saw me. She's like, "Oh, hey," you know, like something like that. And I was like, "Oh, hey, Luna," you know. And so, you know, she recognized me, but was, you know, there's so many different accounts, and like I have never interviewed her, but she recognized the face, and I just kind
Right.
of briefly reminded, you know, who I was. You know, we kind of gave that little side hug, like, "Oh, hey, you know, nice to finally meet you in person." And whoever she was with, I don't know if it was like the teacher or whatever, but it was kind of like, oh, you know, let's get going. And I was like, well, like, are you I thought she was like leaving for the day, and she said she was heading to filming. And I go, "Oh, are you going to the aquarium?" She said, "Yeah." I go, "I'll see you there. We're going to be heading there soon ourselves." And so yeah, it was really brief.
Very cool.
Ah,
There's this
okay. So,
guy.
so yeah, some of these are a little out of order, I feel, because what you're seeing is I'm already in a chosen jacket. So um there's a video that came before this of me meeting Frank. So I don't know if you're able to
Okay.
kind of
Let me.
go back out and look, but some of these pictures might show up, so I'll talk about those while you see if you can find the video. If not, we'll get to it when we get to it, I suppose. But when I pulled up, I was on the phone and I was like, "Oh, where do I park?" And they're just like, "Oh, just like I saw them as I was circling around the parking lot, and they were pointing like, "Oh, just park over here." And so when I pulled up and parked, it was the I think we'll see it, but it was like Cobra Kai, like producer or something like that. So I was sitting or parking in the producer's parking spot, and next to it was the director's parking spot. So both of those
All
were
right.
open. So I can say like, hey, I was a producer for like a couple hours, I guess. I got to park there.
Yes, I think we've got the video here. Hang on.
Yes.
Right back in here.
Are
He
you able
might
to
be
hear
in the
anything?
middle of a fitting. Is Frank in the
Yes.
middle of
You are. Okay. So
is in the
hopefully it picks up the
office?
audio.
I know Yuji was here at 4.
So what you're seeing is I'm all these racks, they're tagged and they have
Thank you.
names of all the characters. We're trying to see where Frank is. Everyone's like, oh, this way, this way.
Hey Frank.
So Kyle's to the right.
His
He's a
office, I
really
guess.
tall guy. That's one of the fitting rooms or whatever where you have the mark and like Frank takes pictures of you doing action movements or whatever. And I'm following Joe. So I think it's going to be a little bit hard to hear, but I'll let the dialogue play and I'll kind of
Hey
explain
Frank.
what
Got Peter
happened
here.
when it's over.
Hey, I'm not. I'm helping.
That's Peter. Wow.
Hey, Frank.
He turned into a little Italian guy.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm glad you heard it. I didn't hear it, so hopefully it picked up the audio. So basically it was Kyle, Joe, Gilroy behind him, and I was third. So they're like, "Hey, Frank," and he's basically like, "Hey, over here." And Kyle walks in and is like, "Hey, Peter's here to see you." And then Joe sticks his head in. He's like, "Hey." And then Frank goes, "You're not Peter." And then, and then I step in, and then he goes, "That's Peter." And I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
Frank," and yeah, I gave a hug, and that's kind of where it ended. And then he gave me a tour. He kind of explained certain things. He let me take the pictures, and and then I think we'll see it. So they are a little bit out of order, but I do take a picture next to like a rack, and it has like chosen tag, and so I was like, "Hey, can I put one of these on?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Hey, why don't you try this jacket?" And let's see if I have any other notes about the took a pick, prop master, walked inside wardrobe looking for Frank. Joe walks in, took photos of name tags. Frank has me try on chosen jacket in the fitting room. And I was just standing there like, quote unquote, trying to look like, I don't know if stoic's the right word, but he's like, give me some, what does he say? Like, I don't know if you hear it in something, but not in these still photos. But he says something like, give me some reactions or something like that. And I try to give him like a
Right.
sexy look, and he starts laughing at me. And then after, oh, also in the fitting room, you see like different concepts of what would be revealed as Miyagi-Do's new logo. And I still didn't
Mm,
know what the name was at that time. But I saw like some variations of like the eagle over the bonsai. So I had an idea of what it looked like. And I asked Frank, and I think he kind of like implied that like what I was looking at wasn't final, but maybe that could have been like something he didn't really want me to know, like that is the final. And so
right.
uh I did say like I was like, Do you have a Miyagi-Do gi?" Oh, no, no, no. I was like, "Can you put me in a gi?" I think that's what I asked him. He's like, "Yeah, sure." Like, which dojo? I go, "Frank, I got a lotus tattoo right here. Look at this." But like I say that as if like he's supposed to know or something like that. But like I need to forget that like, hey, not every crew member like listens or something. But if you're a listener of, Cobra Kai Companion, you may know that, yeah, I got that Lotus tattoo like a few years back. Like I did a live on Instagram and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So I was like, yeah, yeah, Miyagi-Do. So I had a chance to put on a Miyagi-Do gi with the new logo on it until none other than you have it up. I ran into Martin Cove. Um, let's see, asked to try on the gi, but Martin Cove shows up for his fitting, asked to return. So Frank did say like, hey, why don't you come back later, like after me visiting the set? So I was like, oh hell yes, I'll get a chance afterwards. Marty was late to his fitting, and so that's why he's just now getting there. So I think if he was um, possibly on time. And I don't know, Frank could have been occupied and maybe I didn't, get to try on like a chosen jacket. Who knows? But I was just like, oh, the off chance I could have like been wearing a Miyagi-Do gi. That would have been really, really cool. So
Yeah. Marty Cove,
uh,
always
talk to Marty a little bit. Yep.
interrupting.
So yeah, yeah. So these are pictures of the racks. You can see Mitch, Nate, and as I understand it, these are the numbers like on the call sheet. So I guess Mitch would be like number 19. So like on the script, they show like the numbers of the characters, and then that's how they find the wardrobe. I believe behind Mitch might be chosen. I actually there should be a close up coming up.
It says CH, so could be.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
there we
yep,
go.
there it is.
Yep. So chose okay, I think that was a different CH because I think the other one was a little bit bigger font. So this is one I couldn't share off the bat because if you look behind the chosen tag, there's
Ah,
proof that there's a silver stunt double. So if there's a silver stunt double, Terry Silver is probably
there's a
back.
silver.
So
Interesting.
yeah, so I couldn't show that one until part two came out. Yeah. So okay, so there's some videos that went before this, but currently we are looking at me standing in the front or in the middle of Johnny's living room. Looking pretty good. Lighting is all off. You see a picture of Laura behind me. TV still intact, but yeah, looking pretty nice in there. So me in the what would we call this? Like
Common area of Johnny's
yeah.
apartment building.
Yeah, right. Just right outside. But basically where Miguel and Robbie fought. Um, it still pretty much looks the same. And I think, they also use that for like Tories as well. They have to like, get either paint the doors or, different colored doors. But I do believe that either I think the Diaz is, I don't know. Maybe when the Diaz is like pipe breaks, that becomes Tori's
Hmm.
apartment, I feel. Yeah. Uh, there you go. Some of Miyagi's cars. Do you
Oh,
know what any of those are called? So we're not looking at the yellow Ford yet. We're looking at the other ones, like the
no, the
truck
other
where
cars.
the truck that Daniel and Miyagi learn to drive together or whatever. That we have that light blue one in the back and also the black one.
Yes, the ones that never get driven, never get any love.
And also my apologies, I'm starting to get stuffy because when I drink, I get stuffy. I don't know what it is. People think that it's like the wheat or the barley or something, but yeah. I feel at some point when I
All
get a
good,
moment, I'm gonna
all
blow my
good.
nose. Yeah.
Oh, here's you in another special vehicle.
Yes, yes, the Eagle Fang van. Um, I shot my shot. Like if I had a question, I just like told myself, look, just ask. Worst they could say is no. And I asked Kyle, I go, would it be all right if I got in that van? And he's like, yeah, sure. You know, and so he must have been told like, within reason. Peter asked like, it's probably okay. Because I'm not gonna be like, hey, can I take this? Like I think they,
Yeah.
they probably had an idea like Peter's not really gonna go overboard and ask something dumb. So I was pretty much able to do just about anything I asked. So I was like, hey, can I get in this? They're like, sure. I'm not sure if it's unlocked, and it was unlocked. And I go, I would be surprised if the keys is above the visor. And nope, no key. I was trying to do like the Terminator 2 thing.
You to
But
drive
yep,
off.
yeah, right. Drive out, just circle around, in the warehouse there. But yeah,
Very
sat
cool.
in just for a few pictures. Yeah. Hey, there you go. The yellow
Ooh.
Ford. It's covered up, unfortunately, but obviously you can tell what it is. And I didn't even get not even 20 feet of it. As you can see from this picture. Didn't want to lift up the tarp. Didn't want to disrespect Ralph's car.
Yeah, but you can see that color.
Right. So I think this one's also out of order, I feel, but it is me inside of what well, I'm sure this is used for a lot of the rooms, but I think the way it is currently dressed, I do believe it's when uh I think it's the sensei's room. The name. I just had a few sips, you guys. I haven't even way through this can.
Daniel, Johnny, and Chosen's room.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, because I did find like I got a screen grab of like Ronnie talking to Chosen. No, Daniel talking to Chosen in episode well, no, 8 in episode 608, and it's like the same painting and everything. So it's dressed for that sequence. I don't know if they changed the painting and anything else and then make it like the kids' rooms. I'm not sure. But because it's set up the way it was and it's abroad, I figured this looks like a room I should take a picture in. That was just my thought.
That was good thought. A lot of important scenes in these hotel rooms.
Just
And
real quick, I'm just going over my notes. We see the flat inside Johnny's apartment was still clean. Diaz's didn't look like it was completely dressed yet, so that could be kind of what I was talking about. Maybe they were either starting to tear it down to make it Tori's apartment, or vice versa. So now we're yep, LaRusso's home. That picture that we're looking at, that's if you listen to the Julia Macchio interview recently, I referenced this very picture. It's her of her as a little girl on her dad's shoulders.
it's a great picture.
Yeah, it is. And then it's kind of a selfie with me and the three LaRussos. It's Daniel, Amanda, and Sam. Pre Anthony. I think Curtis commented on this photo and said something. I don't know if it's, I don't know if Griffin wasn't cast yet. He did give a reason why like Griffin wasn't in that photo because people asked to. They're like, "Oh no, Griffin's not in this one," or Anthony rather.
Anthony, he was away at camp or something, or playing
Oh,
his video
uh,
games.
I just noticed this, but that top book is that the Okinawa book?
Uh,
No, I
hard
think
to
it's
tell.
mostly yellow. I think it's mostly yellow, right?
I'll have to go back and see, but it
Right.
does look like a similar color. There's a close up of that photo. That's nice.
I don't know if it's the same photo. I think it's another photo. No,
Oh, is it
go back.
could be.
I feel the other one was
Oh, you're right.
standing.
It's
Yeah,
a different
yeah,
photo.
yeah,
Yeah. So we got a lot of photos with no Anthony.
yeah. I think that was over by the couch, maybe, or behind the
Interesting.
couch. Okay, there's those
Ah,
photos of the executive producer. So I parked in reserved parking, executive producer with the Cobra Kai logo on it. And the next
as
one is
you
probably the
should.
director. Yeah, for the couple hours there. So yeah, that was really, really cool.
Director.
All
There we
right.
go.
So just going over my notes, saw Miyagi's cars, went to take pics, saw the Eagle Fang van. Arrive at the Georgia Aquarium. I had to be cleared and escorted by staff to where scene was being filmed. So yeah, it was at the aquarium, and the staff had I forgot even like I noted that I had to be cleared. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember as I was being checked, I don't even remember if I was given a badge. Well, because I'm not wearing one in this, unless I took it off for the photo. But this is where I met Rashanti Lee, I believe is her name, and I don't remember. I think she's with either makeup or wardrobe. I'm forgetting. Um, but she saw me with Joe and Kyle, and she's like, "Oh, are you a writer?" And I was like, "Oh no, I wish." And I told her, "I go, I'm a podcaster. I'm just here to visit the set." She's like, "Oh, it's very nice to meet you." I said, "Thank you so much." Like, I believe I've seen some of your posts, so nice meeting you. And yep,
Very cool.
we yeah we go in. Let's see. Yeah, I just wrote here. Somebody from the crew asked if I was a writer, maybe because I was with Kyle. Uh, on our way, and this is before the image is up, so I'll share this note first. Kyle shares with me as we're walking that they introduced a new character in season 6, and it's his new favorite character. And so I was like, oh wow, that's got to be exciting. And let's see here, walking, remember people kind of scattered. And I walked past an area with a bunch of chairs, and I saw Tanner and Mary sitting. I asked Kyle if I could go say hello. He's like, yeah, sure. And so they were just hanging out. just over there on the side. And then I was just like, hey, Tanner, Mary, like I interviewed you guys at Paley Fest, and Mary's like, oh yeah, no, I remember you. And then I asked them about their feelings about season six being the last season, and Mary said at that point she had already cried like three times, and then this is still like early season six.
Yes.
So one of them has got to be episode three, right? 603.
Yeah, I would think so. And we now know them as the happy couple, the two of them.
That's right. That's right. And she even said that like, "Oh, I'm in my married clothes. This isn't like Sam." I'm like, well, I'm okay with that if you are. Well, thank you guys for even talking with me. And a lot of the cast members that you will see often they would like look over to like Joe or Kyle and be like, "Is that okay?" Like because I'll be like, "Oh, would it be all right if I take a picture with you?" And they'll look over like, "Is that okay?" And then they're like, "Oh yeah, it's totally fine." And then I would get the photo. So I always ask, not just assuming that they'd be okay with it.
Yeah, and that's why they invited someone like you and not some other fans that would be less respectful of the process and the creativity and the secrets that you would know to ask a question like that before you do pretty much anything out there.
Right. Yeah. Um, the before this photo was taken, it's me and Vanessa Rubio. Before I ran into her, I did reach out too. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be on set, blah blah blah. And she goes, oh, I'm shadowing Joelle, so like maybe I'll see you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I knew she would be there. And at this point, I had already seen a couple guys walk past me wearing some badass Cobra Kai bomber jackets. So
Ah,
at that
yes.
point, I had already seen it. I said, "What the fuck is that? I want one." Because it was a new logo. It was a new logo.
Yeah,
I don't know when it's gonna be introduced. It's two Asian guys wearing it that I don't recognize, and so like I just had all of the questions.
I'm sure. That's cool to see
I
that in
mean,
person.
think about like I heard this part in your stream today. You talked about how the premiere you guys watched 13, 14 and 15. You guys didn't even see the first three episodes, and they had to
13
kind
and
of like,
14. Yeah,
yeah, oh, 13 and 14. So you didn't see the finale. Okay.
right.
Okay. That is weird. Okay. Wow. I didn't catch that, after 13 and 15 or 13 and 14. But so you like had some knowledge from those two episodes, but you're like, shit, what the hell happens in the first two episodes though? So
Yeah, we were given a little summary, but yeah, that's
right,
an interesting point. So you're kind of being thrown into part two.
right,
And so there's a lot of characters, a lot of situations that have happened, but you have not seen any of that. So were you just trying to
correct.
navigate, okay, who's that guy? He's a Cobra Kai, but I've no idea who he is. The name's Quan and Yoon are meaning nothing to you at this point.
Correct. I believe Kyle had at this point has told me that the character's name is Quan. I'm like, that's cool, Quan, yeah. And so I only knew of the character's name Quan. I don't remember if he told me hold on a sec here to see. Okay, he may have told me that that the actor's name is Brandon Lee. He may have told me that because I feel like sometime around here I might have already known that name. So you're right. Uh once we get to like the filming area, there's all of these people, there's all these extras. I don't know which is which. I don't know who's a character and I don't know who's an extra. And
Hmm.
so I was just feeling it out. So I think the one character that was there and he had a name, so I should have known. Like if this guy has a name, he's probably a character. And so it was yeah, I'll save it for well, no, I'll say it because I didn't get a picture with him, but it was Vlad, Daniel Wheat, who I
Ah,
interviewed.
yes.
Right. And he would end up being a captain on Tiger Strike. And so so like him being there, I was just like, oh, a really tall guy with like curly long hair, or kind of long. But but yeah, so he's the one person that I wish that I had taken a photo with. But yeah, I just didn't get a chance to. Just go back real quick. So Vanessa, yeah, let's see. I learned that she was shadowing Joelle. I saw her. We took photos. I asked her about Pinky, and then I kind of combined my interactions with her, with this photo and like other sequences because I didn't take more photos with her. But I was talking with her throughout my time there. Um, and at one point. I kind of joked with her and I was like, so how's the baby? And she was like, the baby's good. The baby's good. She says, I'm wearing a belly or I'll be wearing a belly, and that she downloaded an app. And I forgot what the app did or whatever, but it was to kind of like help her kind of get into like that mindset, that mind frame that she's pregnant, that, I think it might have been like, maybe she was trying to be like, oh, how far along is Carmen, and maybe input that into this app to kind of give it some realism, like something like that. But I was just like, oh, you're wearing a belly and you downloaded like a pregnancy app. Okay, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, just as lovely as you'd imagine if you haven't heard like my interviews with her. It felt like she really gave me her time. Like she's shadowing Joelle, right? So it's not she's technically not working, I feel. But so my interactions with her, they weren't like necessarily brief. They weren't like rushed. She stood there and spoke with me. We had conversations. So it was really, really nice to yeah, spend a little bit of time with her. The very first photo we took, she accidentally dropped her headphones, and that's why she has it in her hand. It was kind of funny. So
Ah,
yeah, there's a couple of photos of her like fishing it back upwards, you know. So yep, really nice to speak to her finally in person. Okay, so Kyle is now walking me to the area, and this is kind of like a small hallway-ish, I feel you can look above, and it's also glass, with like, sea life swimming and stuff. And I walked by Jacob Bertrand and I'm looking at the hair and I'm just like, yeah, that's so silly. And then I realized it's Hawk. And then we were both almost kind of simultaneously kind of like pointing at each other. I was like, hey, what's up? He's like, what's up, dude? What are you doing here? I'm like, oh man, yeah, I'm here to, I watch you guys film a little bit. He's like, badass, And then I was like, hey man, you mind if I take a quick pic with you? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so yeah, so in my notes here, I pointed out the mohawk. He's like, yeah, right, like something like that. And so yeah, we hugged and we took a quick pic. He's checking up the deuces here for those that are listening at home.
very cool. And yes, you were
So
the first to see the red, white, and blue.
that's correct. That's right. It hadn't yet been revealed, and we wouldn't even see it until part two. So that was the other thing too. I thought we would just show up in season six, part one, and he'd have it, but no, not yet. This is a picture with Joe Pioroli, who co-wrote this episode and would go on to have his directorial debut with 612, or I'm sorry, 611, Into the Fire, which he also co-wrote. And behind us is the Video Village, right? I believe is what they call, and that's the monitors that we look at. And each monitor is a different camera. And I'm wearing the headset, so I'm able to hear what's coming through the boom mic. And you can see, I believe you can see Vanessa Rubio in the background there.
Yep, there she
Probably
is.
watching some setup. Yep, a few extras as well. And I believe just on the far left of the picture is Sholo.
Oh yeah, I recognize him.
So literally, oh, yep, there you go. So just right behind the corner, while everybody was kind of on their mark and stuff, I saw Raina Valentingham, and I feel like I've already seen John at this point. That's kind of wild, like how out of order this stuff is. But at this point, I have already seen John, and I saw Raina standing, with her phone, right? Like I didn't know she was an influencer, her character. And so I said, John, I go, hey, is that martial artist Raina? He's like, oh, do you know her? I go, well, I've seen her videos. Yeah, very impressive stuff. And I don't remember much of what he said about her. He may have said, like she's, like the real deal, like kind of that talk. And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. Like I think she's like some sort of like, won several tournaments or whatever. Like I knew very little of her at that time. And so at one point, a lot of people were just kind of walking around and I think you can kind of see it in this picture. It looks like that might be an ex that she was supposed to be like standing near or something. I feel like they're usually taped, so maybe that's just me making that up. But I just walked over to her and I was like, "Hi, excuse me, Raina." And she's like, "Yeah," she was really nice. And I was just like, "Hey, my name is Peter. I host this podcast and YouTube channel." I just told her a little bit about it, and I told her that I'm just here to visit the set to kind of watch a little bit of filming. And I just said, "Hey, your videos they're very impressive, and." And so there's like a short video of this, and you can see her go, "Oh, thank you," and I go, and like every time I watch it, I'm always just fearing like you're gonna like shatter your shins or something. She's like, "Believe me, you just don't see that stuff." Like, yeah, I've hurt myself a number of times, and so yeah, it was just a real kind of brief, and I just kind of threw it out there. I was just like, like I don't know what your situation is like with representatives, but like, if the right time and moment comes up, would love to speak to you about your experience if you're ever interested. I just kind of put that out there, and she's like, yeah, great, thank you, and and I did ask her. I was like, I saw you like holding the phone at one point. Like, are you supposed to be like, are you like checking the camera? Like, I didn't know how to ask it. Like, it looked like she was checking her makeup, like with her phone. And I go, is that what your character does or something? And she kind of like the way she responded was almost as if like she was a little embarrassed to say like that's the only way I could describe it, but I don't think it was that. She was kind of like she has some like reservation, right? She was just kind of like, oh, yeah, my character is like an influencer, and I'm just like,
Right.
oh, okay, okay, yeah. And so we don't see it in the sequence. And when me and Watch Party talked about this episode, I talked about like, oh, you could like briefly see her in the background, and Watch Party was able to catch it. He was like, "Oh, there she is!" Like it's really blinking, you miss it. So it's kind of crazy. Like she was right there, and they didn't really, like put the camera on her, but she wasn't really near the action too. That's the other thing. But also, I thought it was interesting of just like where they placed her.
Yeah, at 6'11", Zara was still very much supposed to be kind of hidden until that last
That's a good
scene.
point. That's a good point. Like that, she had some lines with Tori. That was about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I think there's a couple of pictures. One, she had like her hand down, and then the second one, she just kind of did like that martial artist
Raise the
like
fist.
fist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, and from my vantage point, I was just looking at Don Lee, the fight choreographer at work, and he just looked like he's locked in and just watching the rehearsal, making sure everything's running smoothly. Before I
Ooh.
discuss this, let me just look over at the notes because it is kind of jumping around. Um, I believe I had met Don Lee at this point, because I think it would have been weird to have taken a picture of him before meeting him, I feel. So I said, met Don Lee, spoke with him and Ken a little bit about what was going on in the scene. And I met Don's mentor, who had been cast as a Spanish sensei. And yep, we would
Ah,
end up seeing let's see, Juliana and Justin Ortiz. They talked about him. They called him like Sensei Oscar or something like that. So I met him before we would end up seeing Don's mentor cast at that in that role.
really cool.
Oh yes. So what we're seeing here, I was standing, basically on the outside of where all the cast members are as they're like running through lines and beats and placements or whatever. I don't know words, right? So I'm just kind of watching everything. In the previous picture, I think you just kind of saw like mostly of Miyagi-Do. I think there was like Devin and stuff like this. In this image, directly in front of me, you see Tanner and Brandon H. Lee. At this point, I don't believe I've met the Cobras just yet, but and I don't even think I knew which one was Brandon, to be honest with you. Yeah, because yeah, if I haven't met him yet, I didn't know which is which. I was just like, I was just told like, Brandon plays Quan. Quan's, like the new character that's gonna be a fan favorite. And yeah, a guy named Brandon plays him. So I've met a few people before this picture, which is kind of weird, but it's basically Joel, the director. And I see Abe Martinez, the DP. They're just going over some things with Miyagi-Do, and you can see John there as well. I think that's John. To just
Yep,
behind Sholo in the green. Okay.
that is definitely John.
Oh, and also to the far left, you see Tiger Strike's captains, Paula Ray Taylor and also Daniel Wheat. I don't remember if I went and did introduce myself. I think I did introduce myself to Paula at this point. And if you guys heard that interview, we discussed like seeing each other on set and be like, wait, I recognize that face. And so I'll get to that story once we get to Paula's picture. Okay, and I believe this is a video. No, no, it's probably just a picture. No, I think
This
it's a
is the
picture.
photo.
Yeah, so this is Tanner and Brandon running through their lines of and this is the sequence where I found out that Tori was fighting for Cobra Kai. So Kwan's line about like, oh, is it because your girlfriend fights for our, I'm forgetting the line. You might even know
Yeah,
it better than
yeah.
me. So
Girlfriend fights for us. Oh,
yeah. So there it is. Me and one John Hurwitz, both wearing the Sony white headphones, and you can clearly see the kick marks behind us on the dolphin cardboard standee.
yep, there they are.
Let me go back to John real quick because I think that's the only pictures I got with John is basically in that pose. So let's see. I don't have I don't have the notes of when I spoke with John. Oh, um, so going a little bit out of order, I was speaking with Joel, which we haven't seen the photo yet, but I asked Joel, "Where's John?" And John was just right around the corner, so he was like, "Oh, just right over there." So I go to John. Mind you, this is about let's see, it looks like it's almost 8 o'clock p.m. according to that photo there. It looks like it's almost 8 p.m. And my note says, John looked exhausted. And I
Mm,
caught up with him for a bit. He pointed out who Brandon was. So there we go. So he pointed out Brandon and compares him to what he said was Young Chosen. And I immediately thought about the last time we saw Young Chosen in 502 Bole. He might have read my face. I looked a little like puzzled, like, oh, okay, Young Chosen. And then he said like, like Karate Kid 2 Chosen. Because I don't consider that like Young Chosen. I mean, it is younger Chosen, but I would just say Karate Kid 2 Chosen, but like I kind of get it. Young Miyagi, young Sato, stuff like that, young Cleese. But yeah, I thought it was a little funny to call him young because like I even in Karate Kid 2, I felt like Chosen was still older than Daniel, but I don't know if we really know the age difference about them. But
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, so he mentions that they've never written a character like this before, and the closest that he can compare him to is a Young Chosen. And he talked about the original location before going with Barcelona. It was Brazil. We did know all that info now, but that's when I learned it was then. He also said that they got some big names for the final season. Lewis Tan was one that he mentioned to me, so I didn't know about Lewis Tan, but he didn't say what the role was, so I didn't know he was a sensei. I was just like, oh, okay, I know that character. I was like, he was in Mortal Kombat and at least a couple shows that I had started that he was in. I just never got to like catch up or finish them. After we talked about Lewis Tan a little bit, he noticed someone looking over. No, no, I noticed somebody looking over and asked John, and he shared Paula's story. So after John is when I noticed Paula, and he also pointed out Reina. So he pointed out Reina, and I recognized her. So that's how that story went. Okay.
Got it.
All right.
Uh,
So at some point, I'll walk over to the Cobras, and I just introduce myself. Let's see if I got the notes for the Cobras. Um, one of the breaks. During one of the breaks, I went over, introduced myself to Team Korea, because that's what I didn't know what they were going to be called, like Team Korea Cobra Kai, or are they just Cobra Kai, or are they Team Korea? I wasn't sure. One of them, so I say, hey, my name is Peter. I'm, Cobra Kai companion. And one of them, that's what I said. One of them mentioned my companion sounds familiar, that he thinks that he's heard of me. And then, like, after interviewing Sung Ho, Brandon H. Lee, and Daniel J. Kim, it was Brandon that said that he watched my interviews when he got the role to see who he might be working with, including like Alicia Hannah Kim. So
oh,
now, like
interesting.
now I remember that. So it was actually Brandon that said that. He's like, "Oh, I think I've watched your videos," and I was just like, "Oh, wow, thanks." And I think by Brandon saying that, that might have given me a little bit more credit with the other guys, possibly. So, but yeah, they were all very friendly, and yeah, Alex Wong, she's right there. Um, Cowie, I forget Cowie's last name, but he's the one that plays Minsuk. He's the first one that Yoon attacks
Hmm.
into the fire. Yep. So
That's
that's all of them, minus Tori.
that's a cool
And this is
photo.
obviously also before I knew that there was like only six people per dojos that was going to be in attendance because I would have been like, who's the sixth member? Maybe I don't
Right,
know.
right.
Yeah, but it's crazy that yeah, Tori wasn't in that sequence, but we know that she's at another part of that aquarium in the scene. So, but yeah, I don't believe Peyton probably wasn't even like there at all that night because she wasn't in the scene. All right, Joel Novoa and A Martinez. So your director and DP. I was in touch with both of them. That would be on set. And so I was talking about how I was getting anxiety because I wasn't getting any responses. I quickly learned how everything moves so fast, um, how busy everyone is. And anytime somebody pulled out a phone, it was briefs. Like somebody's probably checking notifications, putting it back in. I'm not seeing much standing around and scrolling. And so
Yeah,
that's why they weren't able to reply to me, and by the end of, the work evening, they're probably all tired as all get out. And the last thing they are going to be thinking about is like replying to Peter. I'm sure they were like, we're going to see him, like it's not that big of a deal. But I was just like, remember flying, am I even going to be able to go? So yeah, it was, it was because I didn't really have like a direct contact that was like that was quickly to respond. Like I wasn't given a whole lot of information. I mean, and if you think about it, look at like some of the events, right? Like how their Netflix is handling like the tickets to the premieres, like how that people aren't even finding out, and they're making like plans and reservations and scheduling flights and all this stuff, and like, aren't getting tickets yet. So it's kind of wild. And that's just Netflix, kind of handling that stuff. But on set with all these moving parts, and yeah, it's just I had no idea.
I can't even imagine.
All right. Okay, so I think this is about yeah, so at one point, okay, where's John's note? I know I wrote it during, okay, extras. Let's see. Actually, I think I might have missed this part. But anyway, as they bring in the extras to start staging everyone for blocking, I head back over to Joe and Kyle over by a monitor, and not only get to listen along with headphones, I got to watch Joel at work. John was there as well, so that might have been that one photo that we saw.
Hmm.
Uh, got a picture with Joel. Abe Tanner can be seen. Oh, it was that the previous photo. Can you go back real quick? It's probably not in this photo. Yeah, there it is. If you look between me and Joel, you can see Tanner video slash photo bombing us. Do you see
He's
it just
totally
right above our
photobombing you.
shoulders?
Yep.
Yeah. So he started below, like underneath our arms. As we closed that gap, he slowly raised up. And so, yeah, you can see Tanner right there.
That's
Um,
so funny.
yeah. And I guess I don't have that. Oh, okay. So John signals me. Okay. So go ahead, go to the next picture with Sholo. John signals me over to stand by Sholo and Gianni to watch them rehearse some lines. Uh, let's see. So when John was signaling me, I was all like, "Oh, are you gonna put me in?" And he kind of like smiled and shook his head no.
Nice
And
try.
so, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of what it seemed like. They were working on blocking and stuff. I'm like, oh hell yeah. But I'm wearing like headphones. He's like,
Yeah,
I wanted you to hear the dialogue. I'm like, okay, all right, that's cool.
that's cool
Um,
too. Totally cool.
yeah, totally fine. I'm fine with that. Uh, so before things got started, Sholo caught me standing behind him, and he looked like he thought I looked familiar. At the very least, a face he had not seen before that moment. And let me see, at the very least. So yeah, either I looked familiar or he is just because I am a new face. But he took a moment and he extended his hand out and he introduced himself. He's like, hey, Sholo. And I was I told him he may not remember me, but I interviewed him a few years ago after the announcement was made to Netflix. And then this is when Gianni was like, "Did you get in?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I told him, Sunday afternoon." And then I'm leaving the following day, which would be Wednesday. So that was a Tuesday that I was there. Let's see. Oh, I also threw in the suggestion that I'm free afterwards, and until I leave, if they want to do anything, let's do it out. Why not? All right. So this is Paula Ray Taylor.
Yes.
So uh, I'm sure I have my notes for her. Joelle, Vanessa, Don Lee. Introduced myself to Raina. Oh, let's see. I told her that it's badass. I'd be too scared to hit myself. She shared she's definitely done that a few times. Asked her about her character. If she's just someone on the phone all the time, she revealed her character as an influencer. Okay, so I did have a note for her. Uh, so it doesn't look like I have a note with Paula, but I kind of shared it we just saw each other, recognized each other, and I was like, you did it. You made it on the show because I remembered the cards, right? So me and John talked about
Yep.
that.
Yep.
He's like, oh, she's got a great story. She did this thing from like Love Actually. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I shared that. And so yeah, he just kind of told me what she did, and she shared that story, and there it is. There's the two of us.
Yeah, it's a very cool story.
Yeah, so good. And there it is, stunt coordinator Ken Bearfield and Don Lee, who has also stood in for Master Kim in season 5, young Miyagi in episodes 10 and regular Miyagi, because he's not older Miyagi, right? So kind of like film Miyagi in 613.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, and yeah, fight choreographer. So really nice dudes. Don kept on looking as if he like wanted to talk to me more, but it was just busy. He just kept on looking, kind of like eyeing me, like, like, are we gonna, am I gonna go over and say something? Is he gonna say something? Like, he just kept on looking at me as if we're gonna keep talking, so, like a few different times, but like something always came up. But they were nice enough to take pictures with me, and I think it was probably Ken who even said, "Hey, let's come out here with better lighting." And so yeah, this was at the tail end as I was getting ready to leave. And Kyle Savali. This is the he co-wrote episode 612 Rattled
Mm-hmm.
and their assistant and gave me the tour. All right. And then
There
I
we
think
go.
on my last day, yeah, had lunch with Owen Morgan and Xander Serrano the day after. And the Morgans were kind enough to pick up the tab. So thank you again.
There you go.
That was it. Yeah, had a good time. Yeah, just hanging out with them, eating. Ah, so there we are at the right outside the filming location for the original dojo. This is the physical location. I'm not sure what else is after these. Probably a few videos that we haven't seen yet. So yep, just
Another
more.
angle.
Yep, more angles.
And then, yeah, I think we're, no, we saw that.
So
Here come your
this is
videos.
what was the
Okay.
name of the apartments again? Do you remember?
Oh, the Reseda.
Reseda Flats, or at least that's what we
Yeah.
kind of refer to it as. So this was repurposed on different stages. So let me take a look.
So if the people don't hear it at home, I may have to add that in post or something. But so yeah, just me kind of walking through like Reseda Flats. Is that the Diaz's? Yeah, that's the Diaz's.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I think this is going to be set up for Tories. I have to go back and match up like some of the the stuff that they dress the kitchens with.
No, so we're inside the I was about to say Zabka,
Again, that's
Lawrence
inside Johnny's
residence,
apartment
and this is the TV that may or may not fall down in season 6. Who knows?
before
Might be the jumbotron. That's
Robbie and
kind of what we're
Miguel sit there and
speculating
watch the
um,
interviews
in the
from
fandom.
the upcoming Sekai Tekai at in the Valley.
Yes, we did not lose a TV in season 6.
Right. And if you see just right above me, again, this is supposed to be Johnny's apartment, you see the window of the neighbor upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So there is no that's why like it's kind of funny to kind of see that one guy come out like during the fight because we know that there's really, no other rooms.
Right.
Is
Kyle
there
here
is that
says
another
that
video
this
coming
is
or is that
a
all it?
hotel,
Yeah.
a
Ah,
hotel for one
so
of the
me walking
sequences.
through
You
the
got the
hallway of
elevator
the
there.
hotel.
I wonder. I mean, no, it's not the same one from the hospital because this is
Never
like
walk
a
into
brand
an
new
elevator in the Miyagi-verse.
stages. But so 414. This one is not a real room. So whoever says so, if we see anybody walk into this one, we know that it's not a real room. Let's see here. What's that one? Oh, that's a room. This is a room. So this one is room number 413. No working bathroom, but it does look like an actual hotel room. That's where I'm gonna try to stay tonight. No, I'm kidding.
That must have been the boys' room.
This is where Bert gets thrown through the window. Looks like they fixed it.
Ah, yes, I haven't shared this one yet. So
And
here you go, exclusive.
I don't
Me
see
just
any
kind
blue
of walking
moon.
around the kitchen of
No
the
blue
LaRussos.
Russo
moon.
house. Very nice.
That's amazing. And these are all prop. Let's see if some of these are prop or not. They feel real. But I do understand that there are tools to recap cans and stuff. So make the pizza there. The big fight. Oh, that's funny. Picture of Ralph.
Man, can
That's
you
hilarious.
imagine that they had a big ass brawl in there?
Hmm.
Crazy.
Who are these people?
You do still hear the
Do
video?
you have any idea?
Yes, I hear it.
Okay.
Let's put the. That doesn't look like
And this
Lucille.
is
No, it's not Lucille.
this is all a
Maybe
recreated set.
maybe
This is not in
Amanda's
the
parents.
actual house
Yeah,
because
maybe.
they had to
Although,
recreate
Correct.
it.
yeah,
This is the
actually, yeah.
second recreation because the first one
Ah,
was where the
Cherokee was
Miyagi-Do
sitting
was
here
in that
watching
lot.
90 Day Fiance,
ah,
drinking a
Yeah.
Yoo-Hoo.
So I
Don't
guess
worry
second
about that.
recreation with the original being a
Little
physical place.
Anthony. Okay. Big fight happened out there. That also looks
I don't
different.
think I put the video in here, but I also have a clip of me walking down the stairs, kind of like, pretending to be picked up by Miguel for the prom. And
about
you
to go to
guys
prom.
probably, yeah, yeah, some of you probably saw that little video I made.
Okay. All right, tell me when. All right, and wait, talk
Ah,
back a little bit if you can,
here it
so I don't
is.
see you. All right,
So you
and
guys get to see the
action.
raw footage. So Kyle's first time directing, maybe.
That's it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That was fun. It was nice being in the LaRusso's home. I really wish I could have go. Oh, here we go. Here's a. Oh, this is just some footage, but again, Joel and Abe just kind of going over some things, probably blocking. I'm not sure with Miyagi-Do. Oh, no, no, no. This is when Yoon walks up to Hawk and is like, "You're the best.
Yeah.
Your team has to offer." Is that right?
Yep, that's what it looked like.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just like, oh, there's another guy that speaks, so he's someone to keep an eye out too for maybe. So there you go. Yoon's one of his few lines, part two. So I don't know if you hear it, but yeah, this is. I don't know. We actually hear Brandon's line at this point, but this is one that they're setting up for. And I believe, yeah, you see Tanner holding like a cup of maybe coffee. And when he's running through his lines, he's not even, I'm not saying like he's not taking it seriously, but he's having fun with it and like saying it like in a funny voice,
Yeah.
just kind of going over the lines. But it just shows like the range he's got because when he's on, boy, he can put it on, as we saw in part three.
All right. And I believe that is it.
Hell yeah. All right. So that's it for my visit. We're going to quickly transition and I'm going to share my screen now with your photos. Okay. Are you looking at your photos as I am?
I am. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So hopefully that's the one it's recording. Uh it appears to be remote control. Stop. Okay, so it appears that it is still recording. Okay. So hopefully I can just let me just test this real quick. Okay, all right. So it's
Yep.
working. All right. So the first thing we're looking at is some sort of looks like the entrance maybe. What is it? What are we looking at here actually?
Yes. So this is the entrance. This is actually daytime. This is Hollywood Boulevard, the Egyptian Theater. This is where the premiere took place. It was just a few blocks from my hotel. I'd never been to a premiere before, so I just wanted to see what does this place look like? Where am I going? And I walked by, and I was able to see this big sign here. And on top of that, this was the first day that Los Angeles had gotten any rain in a month. So it turned out they had to pivot and turn this into a rain-covered red carpet so that it could still happen because this is normally outside. Uh, Lord knows the city needed the rain, but it made it tough for a premiere. So this is in the middle of the afternoon. They're getting things ready and just kind of a visual of where the cast would enter from.
Right. And the same day it was dumping on you guys, we were in San Diego on our first day at Legoland, and they said that it was like the first day it rained in like a year. Or
Yeah.
it's either that year or in a year. I don't know which is which, but yeah, it was wild. And so I'm glad you guys they were able to put this all up for you guys. So that was great.
Yes, this was
All
happening.
right. All right. And
I,
I think this is just nearby, right? This line starts here sign.
yes. So, where the ticket holders, the non-cast members, we would line up on the side of the building, not at the entrance to the red carpet. So, again, my first premiere, I see the sign. Okay, this is where we go. Line starts here, and we sit there and wait a couple hours for the whole thing to get started.
Nice, nice. Oh, look at those two handsome guys. So you met
Yes.
up with Ken Cole. How did that happen?
I did, yes. Well, I told him I was coming to LA. He's come to my home in DC a couple of times, and I said, I'm going to get to LA. I don't know when, I don't know how, but when I get there, I will definitely let you know. Hopefully, it'll be for a Cobra Kai event. So, when I made the decision that I was coming to LA, I absolutely let him know. I told him I was trying to get a ticket to this premiere. He was in the exact same boat I was. And I said, oh, fingers crossed double that we both get in, and it happened to work out. And uh, we are by ourselves because you're looking at the only two VIP ticket holders. We were um, very blessed to receive some VIP tickets from the powers that be, and we were very, very grateful for it.
So this is the part that I probably missed when I popped back into your stream and shout outs to Natty who's just like he's just rambling on about like getting he thinks he's VIP. Right? Is that what this was?
Yes. And yes, I was rambling, but yes, I was VIP. Yes. So I got a ticket. It's on your phone, all e-tickets, no paper tickets, all Valley. But and Ken had gotten one too. He got his the next night, and he says, "What seating group are you in?" I said, "Oh, I guess I didn't look at it close enough. I just saw I have a ticket. I figured everyone just gets in, but." Being the noob at premieres, apparently there's several levels of priority to a ticket. There's a standard red carpet invite, and then there's a priority level. And I would learn that only a select number of people will actually get moved in and go to the red carpet area. And it would only be about 20 people. Everyone else was just going to get shuffled along to the screening, which wasn't happening for another couple of hours. So I get there, I look at my ticket, and to my surprise, it says VIP. And I scroll down, okay, well, what the heck does that mean? And it says VIP essentially will be the first ones in. So
That's
that meant
awesome.
I was first in line. So initially, I was the only one with a VIP ticket. So I was just standing there by myself, waiting to be the first in line. And at some point, the folks who were working there start going through the line and saying, "Is there a Ken Cole here? Ken Cole, is Ken Cole here?" And Ken's like, "Yeah, that's me." And they say, "It looks like you've been upgraded to a VIP ticket as well." So whatever powers of that be that helped me apparently helped him as well. And this photo was taken by Ken's plus one, so it was just the three
Yeah,
of us standing there in this VIP line all by ourselves. So yes, what it did mean is that we were the three first people to get onto the red carpet area, and which meant we were the closest to the cast members coming off.
that's fantastic. I think that deserves a cheers.
I think so too.
Yeah, yeah. Cheers, buddy. That is freaking awesome. I missed that part in your stream, so I'm glad you're getting my, organic reaction. Like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
VIP.
I would have been happy just getting in, and gotta thank Ken because I wouldn't have known otherwise. I would have just gotten there when I got there. But yep, so that is me, Ken, and Mrs. Ken, we and a
Right? Yeah.
couple of us. So this is the first 20 or so of us. So how it works is we were taken to this section where the red carpet, it was a black carpet, but where the carpet ends,
Uh-huh.
the cast members would turn to the left, walk off the red carpet, and this would be the first thing they would see. It's a whole area here
Ah,
of fans. So it's maybe 20, 25 of us. And you've probably seen on the different cast members on their socials when they're signing autographs and taking selfies. That was this area right here. So I am the closest one. I'm the first one they would have seen getting off. Ken would have been the second. And practically speaking, another benefit to this VIP is if, there's a crowd here. It was starting to form behind me, as you can see. But if you were not in
Yeah.
that front row, you were not getting an autograph. You were not getting a photo with these guys. You could take your own
Wow.
photos, but you were not getting a photo with any of them because, they were rushed anyway, and they could just get the people that were in the front line here. So,
That's amazing. Okay. And then this is a kind of like the flyer, right, for the
yeah, it's
event.
like a big poster they gave us to get autographs if anybody wanted. Some people were in the autographs. I was more into the photos, so I'm honestly
Yeah.
not even sure if I kept that, but it
Is it blank on the backside of it, or was there any information? You don't remember?
it might have just been like black or say it had the Netflix logo, but
Oh, I see.
that
Nice.
was it.
Yeah, that's still pretty cool. I
Yeah,
am I'm coming around to this poster. I still think season 6 part 2 is the best one of the three.
yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah, there's a
I
lot
I
here.
I like these individual images, but it's just too busy, and like you can like it's kind of hard to make out like the Cobra emblem, as well. I mean, you
Yeah.
could tell what it is if you're looking at it. I love the crane kicks and stuff like that. I like the poster. I just don't love it. It's just way too busy.
I liked the one they did that was just the red mat, which
Yeah.
they released the day
Yeah, the
before.
teaser.
I
Yep.
thought that was going to be it. And I said, "Oh, you know what? This is pretty cool. It's simple, it's effective, and it's like, we're going back to the beginning, the red mats at the All
Uh,
Valley."
yeah, I get that. For me, I was just like, where's where's the Cobra?
Yeah.
When I saw the teaser, I go, hey, cool, the All Valley mat. We go, but there's like no Cobra Kai logo anywhere on this. So
Yeah.
I needed something with just a little bit more detail. But I do like how underneath, I don't think I really noticed it before, but underneath the circle here and between that and the red mats, you can kind of see like like the audience, the people watching like the Sekai Tech guys. So that's cool that they added that too. All right. So, and you guys saw Anne in line.
Yes, good old Anne. Anne worked her magic as well. She did not have a ticket. So many amazing fans were just not able to get tickets. It was really a shame.
Yeah.
But she said, I'm going to go there, see what happens. Maybe I'll get lucky. And as the fates would have it, there was a guy there who was standing next to where I was before I got pulled out to my VIP section. And he got two tickets. He was supposed to have a plus one, and I think his plus one got sick or something like that and wasn't there. So he had an extra plus one and swooped right in and got in there with us. So I was very
That's
happy for
that.
her.
Yeah, that is so awesome. So how did that discussion come up? Were you just kind of casually talking to this person and they just happened to be a person with an extra ticket?
I don't know. So what I
Uh,
do know is that I was in line, and then Ken, when he arrived, he just popped in line next to me. And then when Anne came, she effectively did the same. Then I got pulled out to my VIP section, and whatever magic Anne worked happened. I wasn't around, but
yeah,
when
okay.
when Ken joined
So
me,
she's
he
got
told
her
me,
story.
yeah, he told me Anne's getting in too, which I was very happy about.
That's awesome. Okay, let's see here. Anything here you want to discuss?
Yeah, no, so this is kind of this is my point of view looking back. The red carpet is to my right. So this entrance here in the back. So the the big names like, the Ralphs, your Billies, things like that, they entered from Hollywood Boulevard. That first photo we saw, they came in through the main entrance. They were dropped off on Hollywood Boulevard. A lot of other actors came in through this door here in the back,
I
which,
see.
you can see the greenery in the back.
There's
And
like two
so,
people right there.
yeah, so this
Okay.
is before everyone starts coming in, but over the course of the evening, some people start coming in, and all of a sudden I realize the first one was Randy Heller. I'm like, oh shit, there's Lucille. And then more actors started coming in. And what they did was they would walk through this entrance past us and then kind of circle around the outside of the red carpet and then circle back in and get onto the red carpet. and then they would
Ah,
walk through it. So this was kind of a way that I was able to see a lot of different people.
now, there is a poster, a really tall one in the far left here. It looks like, is that a Sekai Tekai logo poster?
Yeah,
You see what I'm looking at, the black one?
it's hard to tell. We got in later than we were supposed to. I think they were security hadn't arrived, and so when it was finally time to come in, they kind of shuffled us pretty quickly to our area of the red carpet, and then it started almost
Oh,
immediately after. So I
this is
kind of didn't see a lot of these posters and different things. I didn't catch them, but as
yeah,
you can see, the people working there all had some cool jackets. Everyone was there in
yeah.
Cobra Kai headbands. I was Got my own headband that night and
Didn't even open it yet, huh?
hasn't even opened it yet. So yeah, so this is kind of like the fan area. We were all behind here. It goes that way, and then if you go behind me, it's one the other way as well. So
Yeah. Oof.
here's where they start to come in. So basically, the rest of these photos are just yeah, I don't think this movement shows anything. Are just the different cast members who started coming in, and I did not get Randy Heller, but the first one that I think I did grab was Tamlin Tomita, who I was not expecting to meet. This was very, very pleasant surprise, and um,
For her to be like
here's-
one of the first too, like Randy Heller and then Tamlin, but that's kind of
yes,
kind
it
of
was
wild.
yeah. So I'm guessing that anyone who was associated with the 6 seasons of the show got an invite.
Right.
Because Tamlin was there, Robin Lively, people who were definitely not in part three, and some of which
Yeah.
not even at all in season six. But I think if they were cast members in the 6 seasons, they got an invite. So that was very cool.
Maybe people with like more than a couple episodes, something like that. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
Kumiko
guessing,
was
or
definitely into,
bigger
you
names,
know,
bigger characters,
could be,
legacy
yeah.
characters, things like that.
There you go. Legacy characters. Maybe that's what it was. Legacy characters and the more notable ones could be. More of Tamlin. She's definitely so what was she screaming here? Looks like her
So
shouting some
at
stuff.
the time she entered, the people working there were trying to get, the fans riled up, and they were going Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, and she stops on her tracks and goes, no, 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 Miyagi Do, Miyagi Do. So that's what she's
Oh, I
shouting
see
right
it.
here.
Yep. As you're saying it, I can see it coming out for her mouth.
Miyagi
Yeah.
Do, yeah.
You big dough. That's awesome. All right,
And
right.
then we
Robin
got
Lively.
Robin Lively.
Just talking there, looks like.
Yep, they're just chatting it up.
Ah,
Yep, here she comes. So, and
the
yeah,
teen
everyone just
witch.
looked
Yeah.
real happy to be there. And then got Daryl
The
Vidal.
Vidals. Yeah, yeah.
That's he's there with his family.
Yeah. Wife and one of his daughters.
Got a fist bump with him. So at the beginning here, I'm still trying to figure out my strategy of how to get photos of the different actors and versus selfies and how to
Mm.
arrange
Right.
talking with them because I said this in my live stream. I think with a few exceptions, at most, I got 5 seconds with each person, if anything. So you had to work quick. So I was just very quick on the phone button. So Daryl Vidal starts walking by. I'm just going click, click, click here. So that's the reason for the number of photos.
What was Ken doing? Was he just taking photos himself or he was just,
I gotta be honest, he was standing right next to me, and I don't know. He
oh,
probably because
huh.
it was so like go, 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 like intense. I'm sure he was taking photos. I know there were folks who it was funny because there were some folks who definitely knew me, and there were other folks who definitely knew Ken. So I either got to talk like Zach and Leo knew Ken,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I
Right.
got to speak with them for half a second because they were talking to Ken, who was standing right next to me. So between the two of us, we caught almost everybody.
That's awesome. Um, yeah, because like you guys were upgraded like on the spot. So there was like really no planning like, hey, can we take turns taking pictures for each other or filming each other, so that way you get some like kind of like a like more like half body rather than like a
Yeah,
selfie kind of thing.
I
Yeah.
think it was his first premiere as well, even though he's from LA, or at least
I
of this
I think
magnitude.
I feel like he. Oh, you're right. Well, yeah, just mentioned because I was gonna say like I feel like he went to the season 5 one.
Yeah. And from what I've understood from people who went to those, that this was a whole different animal, because those
I
were
mean,
in open fields. Anyone
but
could go.
but they got to see Chosen's butt on a big screen.
They did. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, the Vidals. Hell
We
yeah.
got
Hell
that. Then we
yeah.
got William Christopher Ford coming in. I had a wonderful dinner with him and Pilani the previous evening and got to watch him teach a class. So when he came in here, it was like, seeing an old buddy who I just had hung out with. So he's a really cool
That's
guy.
awesome. So was he there by himself? Did he come with anybody?
I only saw him by himself.
Okay.
Some of the folks, they had their families there, but the families chose not to go on the red carpet. So, like, we got Ron Thomas here. I believe that's his wife in the back
Yep.
behind
Let's say
him
Stacy. Yeah.
and his daughter. But I don't think that a lot of the families, they probably just, especially the ones with kids, stayed away from the red carpet.
Oh, I see Sensei William behind Sensei Ron.
Yeah. And I
And I
think they
just
were
booked
trying to figure out where to go as well, because there wasn't a lot of direction. Just like, okay, where are we supposed to go? Where are they supposed to go? Everyone was just trying to figure out what to do. And in the meantime, we were trying to meet these guys.
yeah, I'll breaking news here. I just booked Sensei Ron Thomas to come back on Cobra Kai Companion. So
Very
near
nice.
future. Yeah, interview with him. All right, next picture.
Got
I
Dallas
see
here.
yep, Dallas who plays Kenny. Yep. Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So Dallas was the first of the teens.
Yeah, he was the first team that I saw. So yeah, so this is the area. So again, this is
Man,
the outside of the red carpet. The
he is
red
looking
carpet's on the other
slick.
side of this. So yeah, he looked good. Everyone looked good,
Oh my God, look at
and
that
real
suit.
different.
The
And
shoes are
so I'm not sure why he's walking in this direction because the entrance is the other way, but
I got
everyone was
lost.
just trying to figure it out. Yeah, but whatever. He was one of the first I
Yeah,
got to see, so he was real cool.
yeah. I'll be honest. I was so surprised when his people replied and said yes. And that looks like his mom in the background, I
Could
believe.
be, yeah.
Yeah, New Bay on Instagram. I don't believe I've learned her be it's Bianca, is it? I'm not sure. Susan Gallagher,
So we got
my
Susan
girlfriend.
Gallagher. She came here. She is someone that I've known through the Companion Network for since the beginning, pretty much.
Oh,
She's my first cast member who I've ever friended. She knew me as just little old Mike before Cobra Kai Wisdom ever existed. So it was very cool to me. I told her I was coming, so we were looking out for each other. I learned she actually did film a scene in part three,
oh,
and she learned, I think, like at the last minute that the scene was cut. So she still came
oh.
to the premiere and then had just learned that she wasn't going to be in it, but she came anyway.
Well, we've learned from previous several. I mean every season. The cutscenes have made it into the DVDs.
Yes.
Like I'm thinking about like some extended sequences in season 4 where they go get Hawk. And when he's like getting tatted up and they cut off so yeah, who knows? Yeah, maybe we'll see her in one of those. Hopefully, some more Tamlin. You
More
dog, you.
Tamerlan? Yes.
She's looking very lovely though. I gotta be honest. I mean, her hair looks done really well, and wow, look at that necklace. She's got this really big necklace that really sticks out here. But her coat too. Was it cold? Was it that cold?
Cold
You
for
said it was
LA.
raining.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was raining, cold for LA. It I guess they weren't used to this type of weather. And it was in the evening.
I'm just trying to make out that necklace to see if we can see what those little spheres are. I don't know if they're
Yeah,
supposed to
I
be
don't
like
know.
lanterns or something. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Whoops. Pretty cool design. 40%. Okay. Okay. Next picture. Oh no. Let's see. Okay, it's not going to the next one. Let's see what do I do here. Oh man, maybe zoom out a little bit more. You are sharing screen. Okay. All of a sudden, I can't change pictures. Okay, so let me back out. What is this one? Okay, maybe that will work. We got the Healds. The Healds are walking by.
Yes. So we got the Healed here, and there's Debbie Healed in the front. She actually recognized me first, again from the Facebook group. She
Right.
called me by my real name, and she's like, "Oh, you're," and yes, I am. Um, recognized me as an admin, and yeah, this comes right behind her is Josh, the only one of the big three that I met that evening. The other two,
Ah,
for some reason, didn't go past our area, so I did not
they
see
they
John or
kn-
Hayden.
they knew you were there, and they did not want to see you. I'm just
Yes,
kidding.
it could
No.
be.
So, you did share this in your stream. Please share what Josh said to you.
He did. So, for those who don't know, Josh and I share a birthday of December 12th, and every year, like clockwork, on December 12th, it's the one day of the year that he and I talk to each other. He's not big on social media. He's not big on Facebook. I wouldn't say I know him or that we're friends or anything like that. But every year on December 12th, I write a post to happy birthday to Josh Shield in the Facebook group. And he always comments back, thank you and happy birthday to you, Mike. So it's our one day a year tradition that we are birthday twins. He walks by when she looks back and tells Josh, like, oh, it's him. He looks at me and goes, birthday twin? So he knew me as well. So that was our cool small moment with the big three, one of the big three.
Yeah, and it's funny. You met him in reverse the way I did with them, right? Like I met Hayden first, and
Yeah.
then I saw John and Hayden, and then finally Paley Fest is when I meet Josh. So you get to meet Josh first, and you haven't met John and Hayden, right?
No, not yet.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I love that he knew you as that. Obviously, like the whole tradition that you guys have the annual one, but I think at the very least they pay enough attention in the group to know who you are. So yeah, if even if he's checking notifications or whatever that we're sharing in the group like once in a blue moon, it's enough that yeah, they recognize you. That's really cool. Now, Josh had boys, if I'm not mistaken. And so I'm not sure who this young minor is,
Hmm.
but little fun fact, both Healed boys and Hurwitz girls were in 615 in the finale. They were the ones getting Tori and Robbie's autographs.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. Debbie and Randy, who's John's wife, they were both background in 613 in the at the All Valley.
Yes, getting
So,
their
yeah.
ketchup and mustard.
Yeah. So recognize them off the bat. So you got another picture with
All right,
Susan.
so got some
Stop
more
taking pictures
Susan.
of my girlfriend, man. Hell yeah.
Hey,
So any context to this picture, it looks like Josh is in mid fist pump or fist in the air, kind of like fist pump, I guess is what I
yeah,
meant.
people, as you can imagine, are shouting, Josh,
Ah,
Josh, and he's just like, hey guys. I'd say this is right before he and I met up.
yeah. I wish I had more time with that guy. Love picking all of their brains, but I just love
Yeah.
Josh talk. I'm trying to Josh has boys, right? Yeah, yeah. Josh has boys. Okay. I wonder I wonder if she's like one of their publicists or something like that. This young lady in front of him.
Yeah, each person,
So
actually, William was telling me each person had a handler, kind of like at a
ah,
con, like they had a
okay,
person who was assigned to them. So, kind of like, okay, we're going this way, we're going that way.
got it.
Um, so that it could be to just kind of help them out.
Yeah. So looks like is this Josh right here talking to Dallas?
That is Josh seeing Dallas. So what was cool about this?
Okay.
So this is kind of an area where the cast members could see each other and talk with each other. And I'm guessing this is the first time a lot of them have seen each other since, um, I guess since the part one premiere, and some of them maybe even since they stopped production last year. So it was kind of like a reunion for them that we just got to witness in front of us. So they were all real happy to see each other.
That, not bad. I mean, and they spent several years together and stuff in the trenches, you
Absolutely.
know. Yeah, love that. It's all smiles. Hell yeah. So we
So
got
got some
Aiden
Aiden love.
Meeks. Yep. And I see to his right, our left, you see a little bit of Owen Morgan.
Yes.
Um, is this woman in the green? Is she somebody we're supposed to know? Maybe somebody's
I
plus one?
could be, or there were a handful of
Is that
non-Cobra
Aiden's plus
Kai.
one?
I don't know. Could be. There were a handful of non-Cobra Kai celebs there. Not too many,
Oh,
but
okay.
there were some people that some of the younger folks recognized and were shouting for, and I had no idea who they were. So it could be one of them, or yeah, could just be a plus one.
I can't be certain, but this young lady in front of Josh kind of looks like Khalil's sister. Was Khalil nearby at this point? Do you recall?
Could be.
Okay.
They definitely were together at
Yeah, I
some
wonder.
point.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if I recognize his mom, so okay. I do see Aiden's mom. I don't know. I don't know his, I haven't I saw I don't see his dad enough to recognize his dad, but I definitely see Aiden's mom is there. Looks like in the background. Oh, excuse me, I'm about excuse me. Oh, so Aiden is
Aiden.
here talking to, oh, well, he's just with Owen. I don't know if they're actually talking, but
Yep. Then we got
um,
Owen started
about to do
walking
some
by.
autographs. So any interactions with Owen and Aiden?
No, not myself. A couple of folks get like a fist bump, others they just kind of scooted by, or
Oh,
went to another area of the fans, not where I was standing. So didn't really speak with him. I tried to get a little bit more of Owen's attention to tell him like, hey, we used to play trivia together back in the day. He used to show up, and I'm guessing he would have remembered, but
yeah.
he's a fast little guy. He walked by.
Owen, I knew when you were 16. Mom, help.
Yeah,
Like something like that.
exactly.
Man, look at him. Yeah, man, he's a young man. Okay. Oh, did I do the thing where I messed up the okay, back of Owen. All right.
Oh,
Who's this
here we
gentleman here in the
come.
white and
This
purple? Who's that
dapper
guy?
young man, which was very cool when I first saw him, Brandon H. Lee, the Quan himself. Happy as can be. I'm guessing because he would not have been at the part one premiere, so this would have been his first red carpet experience, his first premiere. And you might see in a little bit, I did get a photo with him, got to just chat with him again, maybe 5 seconds tops, but really, really nice guy. I know now he was there with his family. His father was there and just posted some really nice photos of their family together. I know his dad's real proud of him, but it was very cool to see him.
This is just because it's like mostly it might be like a light khaki or something like that, but it appears kind of white, maybe beige. It gives me almost like Miami Vice just a little bit. I know
Yeah.
I don't know if the white and purple was a combination, but that's kind of what it gives me. But he was at the part one premiere. He was wearing like a kind of like a red open, like he unbuttoned it kind of
Oh
down,
yeah. Oh
and it was like a
yeah.
red
He was
velvet
at
looking.
part one.
Yeah,
What am I talking about?
yeah,
It's the dragons that wouldn't have been there. Yes.
right.
But yeah, still real happy to be there and real gracious with the fans.
I just I love how he's wearing like, let's just call him dress pants, but like his phone is just like just sticking out so hard. I would have I don't know if that has a back pocket. Maybe that's why it's there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I always for this very reason why I don't ever put my phone in my front pocket because it's just like, oh man, it just like really sticks out like a brick, really. I'm glad you can tell it's a phone though, huh?
Yes.
Brandon looks really happy, just really excited to be there. So that's
Yeah, and,
really
and everyone
awesome.
was happy to see him. So it was
Everyone loves some Quan,
I
man.
thought
Everyone loves
he was
Quan.
feeling pretty good about that.
All right, so let's see if I
All right,
recognize.
these
I see.
next
Okay,
couple of
Emwe
ones.
Aquari,
Yep, we
to the
got
left there. That's
okay.
he plays Sean, and
John.
then we got Nick Marini, who
Yep.
plays young Silver, Barrett Carnahan, who plays young Kreese.
Yep.
Anybody else whose face that we see
Nope. These
that
three
you
came in at the
recognize? Okay,
same time.
maybe
Barrett and
they're
Nick, obviously.
handlers.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone had their people there. Barrett and Nick obviously know each other. They both seem to know okay as well, the three of them. So even though they wouldn't have shared scenes together, they were all in season three together. So maybe they developed a relationship from that, or they know each other from other projects. But the three of them seem to be friends.
They may have been at part one premiere as well together.
Could be. That would make
Yeah, yeah,
sense.
yeah. Or I mean, rap parties, right? I mean, they were all in
Yeah.
season three
Yeah.
together,
True.
introduced, right? Yeah. Uh, is Nick looking at you there? Looks like Nick Marino might be looking at you, kind of. Sure. And this one right
He's
here looks
looking
like
in
Barrett
my
Carnahan. It
direction.
might be.
So yeah,
No, I'm
did
just saying,
not
hey,
speak with
just
any of
take it.
them.
Just take it. I'm gonna say that hey, back behind OK, oh, I want to say his whole name, OK M.A. Okwari. Behind him, that's not Andrea Barber, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. It looks like it. That profile there would have been really weird, kind of random. I mean, just as random as Elizabeth Berkley showing up, I'll tell you that. Let's see what Nick's wearing real quick. He's kind of dressed like actually I think he's dressed more like what Kreese would have wore in the flashback. Kind of
Yeah.
just tan or not tan, he's pretty brown leather jacket really. It looks pretty slick too. It's a good look on him. I like that. I like what
Yep.
Barrett's wearing as well. Looks like maybe like some really fancy party. I like the no tie look, button down a little bit. Let's see what else.
Yeah.
Anybody else there? More Barrett. Okay, M.A. Aquari. Okay. Sean Kanan, the
John
bad boy
Kanan's starting to
himself.
come in.
Mike fucking Barnes coming in. So look at that. Is he fist pumping? Is that what that is?
Yep. People were
Him
pretty
and his
psyched to
wife
see
Michelle.
him.
I
Um,
bet. Ooh,
so
look at
he came
that
up
suit.
to, yeah, he was looking pretty sharp. So he came
Hell
up to
yeah.
us. He knew me a little bit. He definitely knew Ken because Ken has interviewed him a couple of times. So
Yep. Yep.
we got to chat it up with him for a minute or so.
Okay. Did he say anything with you, or did you get to ask him a question?
Not really. I told him I was going to be there, so he knew it, and I it was pretty quick, but just cool to see the bad boy again. So this
Yeah.
is I think
The
that is
healed.
Young Healed, yes, with a really
Yeah.
cool jacket. I think that's
I,
why I took
I
the
was about
photo. I
to.
was like,
uh,
that is a cool coat.
That is a cool coat. I was about to say, I don't know if we've ever seen anybody with it.
No, it looks like a kind of like a high school varsity jacket, but with the Cobra Kai logo on
Yeah.
the back.
And it's big too, just as big as like Silver's Cobra Kai on the back of his hoodie, black
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I love it when it's that big. I'm not a big fan of big graphics in the front, but if it's on the back, depending on what it is, it can look pretty slick. So yeah, that's a cool look. Okay, another one of Dallas, and this is Andrew
Uh,
Cohen, who is the publicist for both Zach and Leo, the composers.
yep. And is that Zach or Leo there on the right?
Check
They're
out that
starting to
guitar.
come
That
in
one's
right there.
both. Yeah, so there's
Yep.
both right here, and we don't see Leo because he's behind Andrew. I didn't realize Andrew was that tall, but then again, Zach and Leo are also kind of average height, maybe below average height. I don't know what an average height is. Is 6 foot average? I don't know
I
for
don't know.
Caucasian men. I don't know,
They are
but I
shorter. Yeah. So
yes,
yeah, they came out and like I said, they saw Ken immediately. Um and went up to him and it was just kind of like, oh, I was there too, so I got to kind of be part of it, even though I don't really have a didn't have a relationship with them beforehand, but it's cool to
yeah.
see
I
them and told them how much I love their work.
Yeah, and part three, I mean, all of season six, but part three's got some really great scores.
Yeah, it does.
They are so fucking good, and they just keep pumping out like new material. And I want to go in and start listening to some of their other scores as well. Like they did the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Matlock, Twisted Metal, Obliterated, obviously. Man, they are so good. And I love that guitar with one of the artworks of the Cobra over the valley. That's
Yeah,
so awesome. Badass. Hell yeah. I like this I know just one frame of like what could be anything, but I love how Leo's got his tongue out, kind of like hell yeah, like a rock star. Like I'm really soaking this up. Love it.
they should be.
Yeah. Somebody that looks like a cross between Gordon Ramsay and Jeff Daniels. Who's this guy? Probably like a manager or something like that. Zach looking really happy. I believe I know you're looking at the heels, talking to who I believe is Brett Ernst.
Brett Ernst, yes.
Okay. And in front of us, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is Una's mother.
Could be this was around the same
Yeah.
time that Una started coming out. Um, Looks like we got some Brett cousin Louie love
Yeah.
first.
Cousin Louie. And shout outs to Brett Ernst and Dana Dude for getting or for starting to sweep the pod. So they're doing a rewatch podcast, and I don't remember what Dan said, but Brett says that he hasn't really watched a lot of these episodes. He said
No,
he usually doesn't, yeah, he doesn't usually watch things he's in, but what he has seen is the stuff that he's done ADR for, like those episodes.
yeah, he's watching it for the first time, which is actually kind of cool because he's starting to remember because they're just on season one right now, these episodes, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it.
So here comes
Now,
Nate and
yep,
Owen's coming back with Aiden.
yep, and Aiden. And so we see Aiden's mom leading the pack. She represents all three of them.
Right, right.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I have to keep zooming in and out because I keep like muting to like cough or whatever.
That's okay.
Nate's waving at people. Do you I'm sure it's hard to kind of recall, but was Nate just kind of like is he waving to the audience or the audience, like the fans, or was
Yeah.
he anybody in particular? Because this is all
Uh
like the fence area, this is all fans, right?
yeah, this is all the
Okay.
fan section. I think people were
Someone
recognized
yeah.
him. They said, "Hey, Nate, Nate," and
Hey Nate, yeah,
he's
yeah,
just waving
right.
in general.
That's awesome. And Owen looks like he said, please, no photos. No.
After the
Man,
show,
look at
after
him,
the show.
looking dapper. Not only do I love the suit because he just looks so. I mean, he's in college, man. He's an adult, but
Yeah,
I love the hair going too. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's Nate's brother behind him
I
too.
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, they look so like that. The O family, strong genes. Brent Ernst, did he recognize you from when you took or
So he
treated them
kind
out?
of ran past me, and same with Dana Dude, who's coming in now as well.
Ah, yes.
They were all over the place, the two of them. So I was just kind of sitting back and watching them do their thing, and they started promoting their podcast right there, telling people to see it, and they just seemed happy to see each other.
That's awesome. I'm trying to see what necklace he's wearing. He's wearing a pretty big piece. Oh, hold on. Is that Rosa? I mean, that's Rose Bianco,
That
yeah?
is Rose Bianco, yes.
Oh, she was walking out with Dan. Okay.
I don't know if she walked out with him, but they appear to arrive at the same time.
Oh, it looks like Rose might have already. Yeah, it looks like she was already standing there as
Yeah,
Dan was
it's
walking
not a
up.
very
Okay.
big theater. It wasn't a very big area. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
easy to tell in these photos. So the cast and all the different people were kind of crunched together, trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know who
And
this is. Who is this person right here? I
with
don't.
that in oh, I'm like, well, that would be Reina.
Rena, and I believe that's her boyfriend. I do recognize him in some photos. I think that's who that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's a
she came
cool
in.
cool dress too. I'm sure people were doing the same thing, like, "Hey, Reina, hey Zara," that thing, like, "We love you." Probably. She looks really happy to be there.
She was thrilled to be there.
Huge
She just
smile. Yeah,
was just like couldn't believe it because that
first
this
premiere,
is her first premiere. Yeah.
right?
So I think she was just like taken aback by all the love because people started screaming when she came out. It was very cool.
Yeah, because when the season 6 part 2 didn't have a premiere, but
Right.
around the time that came out, she was in the UK filming something else. So I think that's why she would. Well, there wasn't a premiere, but she also wasn't really promoting a whole lot because she was, uh, on another project abroad. So
Yeah. So I think this was the first time she got to enjoy the fruits of her labor and seem real pleased with that.
Did she strike any karate poses out there? Any like high kicks, like standing high kicks or
Nope, she did not.
okay.
She came out in a dress and was just being a regular person, but
Yeah.
it was fun to see her.
Yep.
And there,
Brett Ernst and Dana
Brett
Dude
and
hugging
Dan.
it out. All
Then we
right.
have
Cara Ann Marie.
Cara Ann Marie, who plays
Play Sue.
Sue on the All Valley
Yep.
Committee. She's also someone that I've known from the companion group and a few other things. And I told her as well that I was going to be there. So she came out, and I yelled, Cara. And so we got our first photo together. And she walked in with Brian, I think his last name is Troxall, who plays
Oh,
the other
Truxie? Maybe or Truxell or Truxie?
Troxall,
It's one of
yeah,
those.
the
Yeah.
other member of the
Gavin.
All
He
Valley
played
Committee, Gavin,
Gavin.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he said he recognized me, from the Wisdom account, the tall guy with the hat. So I said, I'll take it. And so I got to shake his hand as well. Didn't
How's,
get a
how's
photo
he
with
rec
him.
how does he know you're tall?
I don't know, maybe just the photos, because he follows me,
Yeah.
just the photos he's taken of me in the photo and pictures. I always
I
just
mean,
simply look like
I
a
may have
giant.
shared this I may have shared this with you, but when I started seeing pictures of you with like people I've met in person, that's when I'm like, wait, shit, Mike seems actually pretty tall. So I had no idea up until like you started meeting like Ken and Cody. Well, I never met Cody in person, but um Ken was also one that I was a little surprised that I was like slightly taller. If I think I might be like an inch taller than Ken, but
Yeah.
you don't know that like on camera,
So you
and
meet
so
someone. Yeah.
yeah, and so when I met you, but at that point, I did know that you were taller. I didn't realize how tall, but yeah, pretty crazy. Um, and for those that don't know, Ken went to the Cobra Kai Live and Badass for me and interviewed Cara Ann Marie briefly, so for the companion. And I think that just went on the socials. That didn't make it onto the podcast or anything like that.
Yeah. So she recognized him as well. So
Yeah.
that was cool for both of us to meet her.
All right, Keith
And
Arthur
here we got
Bolden,
Keith. Yep.
Temecula. I just love the way he says that. Uh, so he looks like he's got a pretty cool jacket here. What's that say there?
Yeah, I couldn't
No,
really see, but yeah, people, these premieres were dressed, some of them in like basically black tie, some were in suits, and some were doing like the more elegant casual look. So I guess it was
does
whatever
is he
he
wearing
felt
some sort
comfortable
of
with.
beanie? Is that
Yeah, that
on
he was
him?
wearing
Okay,
something.
I couldn't tell. Did you say something to him? He looks like he's pointing at you.
I think I yelled, "It's karate time."
Yeah. All right. Looks like more Aiden, Nate, and Owen. I love that they're there. I mean, it's kind of almost like, well, of course, but um. when they Paley Fest, they were in the audience as not part of the cast. They were in the audience,
Right.
and so if I think I did a re yeah yeah we I did an episode with Mikey and I've talked about it like after the viewing of or after the panel at Paley Fest. I saw Joe and the Wand and got excited. I was like, "Oh, Joe and the Wand!" And I started making my way passing Owen and Aiden, who got like swarmed by like all of these fans asking for like autographs and stuff like that. And so at that time, like I wasn't even thinking like, hey, they don't have people to kind of protect them. And I felt terrible that like, oh man, I should have like tried to grab them and have them come with me. But I was like, hey, I'll
Yeah.
be back. I'd say, hey, I'll be back. And they're just kind of like, hey, and they're just signing autographs and just hella people, but I'm glad that they're there and that they can kind of enjoy the premiere on their own terms as part of the cast and not like in the audience. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah.
So Sarah Ann,
We got Sarah Ann, young Kim Da-eun came up.
how tall is she?
She looks very tall in this photo, but she's definitely growing, but she's still a kid.
There was
Um,
somebody she was pictured with that she was taller than. I'm like, Juliana, is she taller than Juliana?
I don't think
It
so,
might have been the way
but
they were standing. Maybe is
yeah,
you can't tell if Sarah Ann is wearing heels, but it could have been where Juliana wasn't wearing heels. And because I believe in a photo I saw of them together, it looked like Sarah Ann was taller. So it could have been
I think she was wearing heels. So yeah, she was there. She and I, we follow each other on social. So I got to see her. She was there with her sister Amy. So we got this cute photo there. And
there's Amy.
she yeah, people were happy to see her there. So she got a lot of love from the fans out there.
That's awesome. And so this is Joe Pioroli talking to, is
Yes.
that Debbie Heald?
Yes, appears to be.
Okay. Okay. Can't tell that angle. Her face is mostly obscured. Haha, since you would say Sam
Yeah,
William. Hell yeah.
me and Sensei William, I said, we got to get a real photo, the two of us. So
Did you say you guys had like dinner?
we did the night before. I went
You
to his dojo
yeah.
and got to watch him teach a class, which was actually very cool. Watching Sensei Ford teach a group of kids karate, and then yeah, he and I and Pilani went out for dinner afterward, which was just incredible.
No pictures from the dinner?
We got a pic, not at dinner. We actually we
Okay.
got a picture of the three of us plus Sensei Rich, who Piolani
Oh,
knows, who's
yeah.
one of
Yep.
William's colleagues. It was his idea. He's like, let's get a photo of the four of us. So I
It
have
was
that's our photo of the
what
four of us in his dojo.
isn't the story where he was the one who knew about the tryouts and had Sensei William come with him?
Yes, Piolani told
Yeah.
me that story. And I've heard the name, and I know, I've seen
Yeah.
between the two of them mentioned because they're all I learned about their karate history and how they met and knew each other. But yes, it
Right.
was Sensei Rich that went to the
Nice.
Karate Kid 3 audition and dragged William with him. And William ended up getting a part on the in the movie.
So I think I can share this story because I don't think it like outs anybody of anything. But so I got the screeners. I like uh did we share this? Well, okay, so Sensei Ford has said he shared um the news of his return with very specific people, and did he share that in my interview? Do you recall? That
I don't
you know
remember.
so he got reached out to talking about returning, and he was over the moon, obviously, to have Dennis return. And he told the creators there's just a select few that he would love to share these news with that has supported him, from like day one, and I was included. So I had a pretty big heads up. Like he got that permission, so like that's why I'm kind of sharing it.
Yep.
Uh, to tell it, shows out now, and so I knew for some time, and if Pilani, if you made it this far. He said he didn't want to share it with Sensei Pialani. He wanted her to be surprised, when she watched the show. And I totally
Yes.
understood that. I go, my lips are sealed. And Pialani, if you remember in our group, she wasn't able to kind of start her binge, when everybody else. She started a little bit late,
She took forever
and
and we were
she
dying.
she took a little bit. And surprisingly, she wasn't really spoiled, but I believe it was Ceci Rich that reached out to her. It was like, "Hey, have you watched it yet? Like you might want to check it out. Like there might be somebody you might recognize." And so Pilana reaches out to me. She's like, "Hey, did you watch the show?" I was like, "Uh-huh." And she's like, "Did you?" I kind of forget, like she was kind of probing because she didn't want to spoil me. And I was
Right.
like, "Oh yeah, I got the screeners," and I sent like a smiling emoji. And I think that was kind of weird. I think she just wanted to see if I knew. And I was like, yeah, I totally knew. And we just kind of been waiting for your damn response.
Yeah.
But she's a busy lady. So love you, Pilani. So big sis. All right, this one is Frank Helmer. Hell yeah, Frank Helmer. Guess I say William. I don't recognize these two. Do you is are they
No. Yeah, it's
is
just
that Luan? I don't
ah
know a lot of bald people. I don't think that's Luan. I was trying
no.
to think of anybody bald.
I got another photo of them.
Okay. Yep, but that is definitely Frank Helmer, also the Johnny's Taylor in episode 612.
Yes.
Okay. Ming-Na Wen,
Yes,
Karate,
that was
Karate
one
Kid
of the
Legends.
I didn't know this was in this, but yes, she came. She was one of the non-Cobra Kai celebs that was there. And yes, I'm guessing she was invited for her role in Karate Kid Legends. That's just a guess.
Yeah.
She is also friendly with Tamlin Tamita, so there's that connection there
Correct.
from Joy Luck Club.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, Joy Luck Club. Absolutely. And I think I don't know if it was a podcast. It was at least something they were doing that was called like, oh no no no. I think it was a joke that Tamlin made. That movie Joyride that came out. Did you watch that? About the
No, I've heard of it, but I
Chinese
didn't see it.
American, yeah, Chinese American women who go on a road trip. One's trying to like kind of, dig into her history a little bit. And I think Tamlin Tomita kind of like joked and called it like the Joy Fuck Club because it's very raunchy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's hilarious too. So if you guys haven't seen that Joyride, all right, Gianni
and we got some Gianni
DiCenzo.
coming in. Yep.
And I think this is actually his manager. Edwin, I believe is his name.
Oh,
He's
okay.
who I corresponded with the last time I had Gianni come in. I believe was it for season five? It was either season four or five. The last like full interview, like from home, not
Yes.
Pellyfest. Yeah. Uh, because
Yep.
I
So he came
think he
in
was
and
also at Pellyfest. Hell
was
yeah.
his goofy self and couldn't get a non-blurry photo with him because he was moving so fast, but he was a
I
cool guy.
Yeah, this is definitely blurry. Is that Owen's mom next to Aiden's mom back there?
Looks like it. Yeah, could be.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it. Okay. Oh,
And
Griffin. There's
Griffin
Griffin. Yep.
starts coming in. Yep, he was looking good.
Yeah, look at that. That is not the kid we knew from season one, man.
No, the
Is that
Whopper
Randy?
Juniors.
Is he hugging Randy?
Ah, I don't know if that is Randy. Could be.
He's hugging somebody with I don't know how to say it without sounding
Nah.
insulting. You know,
Yeah.
somebody much wiser than him.
Yes.
Beyond his years. So he's a young guy. Yeah, that could be Randy. Because like she plays Grandma, right? Grandma LaRusso. Yeah, I wonder if that's Randy. Let me see who's that behind. Who's she hugging after him? Trying to hard to say who.
Yeah, but he was looking good in the full
Yeah.
suit there.
Okay, so you got a decent one of Gianni's, just not with you. Yours is blurry.
Yeah, he was just all over the place, but he was having some fun with the fans.
Sure, as he always is. Oh, what did he do? Take somebody's phone?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
he's the one who's doing the selfie.
yeah. So
That's awesome.
he did a selfie with someone's phone.
Is
So
that?
yeah, gotta
Oh, I thought that was Sholo for a second. That's not Sholo. That's somebody in the
no,
fan.
got a
Oh, so you got a
nice
picture with Griffin? Okay.
yeah, got a nice shot with Griffin. Nice guy.
Oh, look at that pinstripe suit. Man,
Yeah, he was
these
looking good.
I forget how old they are now. They're not 12, 13,
No,
17
he's
years old.
a
They're all
freshman
in
at
their
Yale.
20s. Right. Shit. Is that Moon? Yeah, Hannah
That's
Keppel.
Hannah.
Yep, my
Yep, she came in.
second interview. Thank you, Hannah, for putting me out there to the TB3. All right, who
Here
we got
comes
here?
that is I'm blanking on her last name, but that is Thomasine Griffith's family. That is his wife
Oh,
and
Mary. Yeah,
yes, Mary
got it.
and their two sons behind him. They all came to the premiere.
Oh, okay. I was all like, she has a familiar face, but like it's she's not looking towards you, so it's just like
Right.
somebody that looks like she has her eyes closed. I was like, that does look, the face does look familiar. And
So
where
yeah.
is a good old Sasquatch?
He would come later, but one
Okay.
I we've got some I have some very big Thomas and Mary fans on Twitter I am friends with, so I knew they would appreciate seeing this. They're a big fan of the Griffith family, and I figured if they were here, yes, Tig would be making his appearance at some point as well.
Absolutely. Looks like Hannah Keppel is also probably doing autographs there. Oh, look at that.
Yep,
Hannah Keppel. You got a picture with her too.
I got a
Awesome.
picture with her. Super
Real
sweet, real
brief, right?
nice.
Just like, hey.
Yep, 3 seconds,
Yeah, yeah.
but
That's awesome.
very cool.
Man,
And
I cannot believe how different Bo Mitchell looks, who plays
yeah,
Brooks, for those that don't know the name. But I did recognize him. He's got a beard. So Brooks has never had a beard. He's got a pretty full beard, and his hair is so different too. It's a lot shorter, but it's still got those curls in the front. I like that look, but man, unrecognizable. Like if you told me that was Bo Mitchell, if it wasn't at the premiere and you said it was Bo Mitchell, I'd be like, Stop lying. He kind of looked like him, but no, that
Yeah,
ain't him.
but he's got like the same eyes, like the same face. Like, as the
Yeah.
second I saw him, I was like, "Bo!"
Oh yeah.
That's
Once
probably.
he starts talking, I bet you can see all the mannerisms and stuff. But yeah,
Oh
these,
yeah, for sure.
yeah, that looks
And
like
so,
him. That,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a Brooks face.
Man, look at that ring he's wearing. What is that? Some sort of class ring?
I don't know, like a Godfather ring.
Yeah. In the background there, kind of. Oh, is that Debbie Heald? Okay,
That's Debbie Heald again. Yeah,
got it. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
but
Mario Lopez. He's
Mario
there to
Lopez.
support a fellow cast
Yes,
member, Elizabeth Berkley.
yeah.
Just
So,
joking.
yeah, no, I think he was there, and she was there as well. I didn't understand why at the time. Like, why is
Right.
half the cast to Saved by the Bell here? So
You know
I
what's
actually,
funny? So some people had seen her at the premiere, and like I was seeing it on Twitter, X or whatever you want to call it. They were just like, "Why is Elizabeth Berkley there?" And I was just like, "Hee hee hee."
yeah,
Like I wasn't obviously responding. I was like, "She's somebody's mom," and you guys will never guess who. Because
yeah,
yeah, I was just kind of like, "What? Talk about." I mean, a lot of like these big cameos, Kim Fields in season two, Aisha's mom. When they just showed up, you're just like, "What?" Like
yeah.
Ed Asner, what? How do you get some of these
It's
names?
perfect. So
Yeah,
so act because I didn't know that. So Mario Lopez came out first, so I got a few shots of him. I'm a fan of his. I like him.
yeah,
And then Elizabeth Berkley came out later, and I did not get shots of her because I thought she was just there as a fan of the show. I didn't realize she was actually on the show. I would have taken a photo or at least one of her, but
So
they took me happy to
Vanessa
be there.
Rubio got to be interviewed by him um, some years ago. I do remember. Oh, wait, did she? Yeah, I think she did. Yeah, I think she was on like his show or something.
Yeah,
I definitely remember talking to her about it in one interview. So you got Angie Okamoto.
Angela. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Was she? Who was she with? I don't see Yuji. Not in this picture anyway. Was he nearby?
Yeah, I think she and Yuji got separated. Her daughters were with her. They're not in this photo, but
Yeah,
the whole Okimoto
family.
family was there.
So this must be their handler, this gentleman here.
I'm guessing so, yeah.
Yeah, I don't recognize him. And then you see, is that Una?
That is Una starting to come
Okay.
in.
Yeah, Una
Um,
O'Brien plays Devin. Yep.
she Poor Una. I think the sight of the big crowd, because the crowd went a little nuts when they saw her. Una. I think she got a
Yeah.
little intimidated and she did not approach us. She was like, "Oh,
Oh,
I'll come by later." I mean, she's only 18. And she was like, "I'll come by later," and she did not. And then she was like, "Oh, I gotta go." And so I was like, fine. If you're not comfortable, don't come up because some of those fans were getting a little crazy. But it was good to see her.
yeah. Khalil, was he, I don't know if you remember, but was he already standing there or was he like entering in this picture here?
Yeah, I think this might have been the same time. So, from my point of view, if I had looked to the right, that's where Una was coming from the
Right.
red
Yep.
carpet. If you look to the left, that's where Khalil was. So,
Yeah. Okay.
at this point, like I said, I was probably, I turned and, oh, there's Khalil too, took a photo. So I believe these are going in chronological order for the most part.
I I should also say like I do feel a lot of the uh, companion listeners. I do feel like a lot of them pick up on these names, but I need to be a little bit more mindful. Khalil Everidge, who plays Chris. So there you go. Uh,
Yes.
for those that might just be listening and haven't been able to watch the video, I'm trying to recognize.
Yeah. So,
I think that's one of Yuji's daughters in the background there. But man, you weren't kidding in your stream about what Khalil was dressed like. Holy
oh
cow,
yeah.
that's
He
a
went
fit if I've ever seen one.
he went full on. He was
Man,
there
what
to
animal
play.
did you kill to get that? That looks like a big old like bear fur or something, and then just like colored. Man, that's huge. All right, the
And
Loki,
then
the pimp
the
Loki.
pimp, who I didn't even recognize at first. I said, "Who is this pimp coming in?" And then he comes a little closer. I said, "Oh shit, it's Jacob."
Did it take
Sunglasses.
a did it take a moment for people to recognize him?
It took a moment for me. Maybe other people recognized him. Once he started like doing this thing and his movements, I said, "Oh, now I can see who you are." That's Jacob Bertrand in the fur coat, looking like $1,000,000.
a ring on both hands,
Yep,
both pointer fingers. That's why I wonder what those are.
full on Pimp Daddy.
Yeah, look at that coat. I don't want to say meat because I don't know what it is. C.S.
That is
Lee,
C.S. Lee, Master
who plays
Kim.
Master Kim. Yep. And looks like a
And
little
yeah,
embrace between Jacob and Khalil.
uh,
Khalil's probably like, hey, I gotta get a picture of this. His phone is like really up, up
the
at
two of
Jacob
them.
here.
If I could, I wish I'd gotten a video because like they're looking at each other's coats. They couldn't believe that someone else actually wore a long fur coat to the premiere, and they just were like hysterical, thinking like, look at the two of us. It was pretty funny.
That is like, I think like never mind the outfit, but Jacob's hair, man, look at that. That
Yeah,
little tail in the back there
slick
with his
back.
long
It's
hair. Yeah. Oh, nice.
got some
Yeah, like you
hugs.
said, they haven't seen these guys in a while.
Yeah,
They haven't
they
seen
were
each
real
other in a
happy
while.
to
Yeah.
see each other. So, here he comes, the gasoline himself.
All right. Explain away while I blow my nose.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. So what you're this like little ramp here now. So this is the red carpet went back and then turned to the left a little bit. So when it turns to the left, it would come down this ramp. These are the security guards, and I was, like I said, the first one right there. So the bigger names started coming in. They all came from the red carpet, and that's when your Jacobs and now your Yuji started coming through, and he was he was looking good as well. So I think the Okamoto family, this is one of the examples where Yuji went through the red carpet and all the, the cameras and the interviews and all that, but the family decided to stay in the background and not deal with that, especially since his daughters were there.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking slick. I don't think I've seen him a lot of blue. So that's different for
Yeah, he
me. I
looked
do like
good.
it.
He looked
Yeah,
real
that
good.
looks like a like kind of like a machio blue. Actually, excuse me, that looks like a similar blue to what Billy wore on Fallon.
True. Yeah. No, he
Yeah,
looked good.
yeah, yeah, looks great. I mean, you're never going to hear any criticism from me about Chosen, except for like maybe maybe I don't want to say reconsider about like joining Kim at the end of 615, but like, hey, we'll get there when we get to
Mhm.
that episode. All right. So,
So,
did you catch the interaction prior to this photo being taken? This is Yuji about to say what's up to Khalil and Jacob.
yeah. And that's basically what it was. Guessing these guys have not seen each other in many, many months, and especially Jacob was just like putting out the high five, ready to see Master Chosen.
All right, yeah, I forgot that. Master, is it? Yeah, yeah, Master Taguchi, or
Taguchi. Sensei
it wasn't
Taguchi.
Grandmaster, right?
I
Master
don't know.
Sensei, Master Sensei. Oh, he
Oh
says
yeah.
it in
Oh yes.
he says it in the is it the Tekai episode? What
Yeah,
was it
Tekai
called? Yeah,
508.
Tekai.
Sensei Taguchi, Chosen Taguchi, Master Sensei.
Master Sensei. Yeah. Still a title I haven't heard anywhere else other than him.
Yeah.
You know, it's usually like Grandmaster or just Master, like Master Kim. Okay, so more Yuji and Jacob admiring each other's fit, and you and Yuji. Awesome.
Yep. Got myself a
I don't think I've
Yuji
seen a lot of your
puppy.
pictures, so I'm glad that we're kind of going through these now.
Oh, good. Yep. Said, got to sneak that one in.
Well, look at Jesse. Look at like all business. He
Jesse,
walks in. He's
yeah.
the only one with a cell phone in his ear.
Yeah,
You
he
know what's funny? He's probably like, Dad, where are you?
no, yeah. I think that's the case. I'll just say this very quickly. He got into a bit of a heated discussion with some of the security guards because I think he was looking for his dad, and he left the red carpet and then they were not supposed to go back on the red carpet. So I would see him later on in a much more happy, peaceful scenario. But I saw him, so I snapped the photo. But yeah, I think he's wondering where the hell's my dad at this point.
Oh wow, yeah, I was just joking. Um,
And here
who
comes
is you know?
Sholo.
Yeah, this is Sholo. Do you know who the young lady is in front of him? She has her back to us.
I do not know.
Okay, it looks like a snake print dress too. So like, Cobra related kind of deal. Because Cholo looks happy to see her. So I'm like, is that a cast member we can't recognize from behind?
No, I don't think it's a cast member, but someone that he
He
clearly
knows,
knows.
obviously. Yeah.
And and the guy behind him holding the light,
Oh, that was the guy. Okay.
yeah, so I mentioned this. He had a professional, I don't even know what they're called, a professional lighting person there holding that light above his face. So you'll see at some point I did get a photo with him, and it is by far the best photo of this whole stack because we had a professional lighting guy uh, holding it up right behind my phone. So
Yeah. And
he
we're
was
starting
hit.
to see we're starting to see some of those at Comic Cons now, like the
Yeah.
Steel City, right?
So he is the legit movie star coming to the premiere.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't it, I don't know her name. And anything I say would just be a guess, but I was thinking like if she was somebody that sang on one of his songs, or it just might be another
Oh,
like guest celebrity that's also in attendance that he just knows. But
could be.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, she almost looks kind of vaguely familiar. All right, yeah. I
So
love seeing Shallow in front of the fans because I he really loves the fans and
he really does.
man,
He was there one of the longest of everyone, despite his own handler being like, "We gotta go, we gotta go." He made sure he signed every autograph, took every photo, and he's not putting on an act. He was just real happy to be there.
yeah, man, look at that beard. That's a clean looking beard that he's got going there. Man, that's parachute pants too, man. That's a fit. It looks good. Joe Suh, who plays Kyler, there he
Yes.
is, showed up as well. And I see Amy, Sarah Ann's big sister, in the background as well.
Yep.
Uh,
So yeah,
jo
Joe came out and it was a lot of Kyler fans there. He got some love there as well, which I was happy to see. And he was definitely
Anybody
happy
shout
to be
out,
there.
bitch? You know I know karate? Wait, bitch, wait. Well, what's the
I,
line?
bitch,
Bitch,
don't you
don't you
know
know
I
I
know
know
karate?
karate? Yeah.
I didn't say
Any of
that.
those
Maybe
shouted
someone
out?
did.
Yeah. Some selfies. Joe loves the fans too. Selfies with Cholo, Joe, more on Zara, Reina.
Reina. Yep.
Okay. Ah, Patrick
Ah,
Lewis. Okay.
yes.
That's
He
just the
came out of
one. Yeah.
nowhere, and this one
Really?
guy
He's
that
tall.
yeah. Well, yeah, he just kind of like approaches, like, "Whoa, I can see why people are intimidated of Axel." But yes, one guy that make me feel short was Patrick Lewis, who was real cool guy. I got to talk with him for a couple of seconds. Real nice guy, and get this great photo.
It's very nice. It's a really good one too. It's a good one of him. Oh, Morena. Look at that. Hey,
And
if she's there,
here,
why not?
yes,
Ah, Courtney
and here comes
Hengler,
Courtney.
Amanda
Courtney,
Russo. Yeah.
she was moving so fast. Uh, it was just like a blur. So she was like, "Hi, good to see you." Bye, Zoom. But I did get a few shots of her
I
wearing a
wonder if
spectacular dress.
I wonder if this is kind of like towards the tail end where like now these are like stragglers to like to getting where they need to be.
It could have been. This was towards the end, but I mean, she was hustling like she was late for something. But
Right.
I think she was
Did
just.
you did you say after this they hit the red carpet? Is that where they're doing like questions with people and then they come back out to this area? Is that
Yeah, yes, that is what everyone else did, but she was walking on the outside. So I'm not sure because I know she was on the carpet because I've seen some interviews, but I'm not sure if that was
yeah.
before or after or
Okay.
what was going on here. But
I wonder if
uh,
that's what it was. Maybe it was before, and that's why some of these people are like kind of running behind. Some of those interviews can get a little long, and you can't really time them all.
yeah, that's possible.
But you got those pictures.
But
There it is. There's
there he
there's
is.
Sasquatch, and there's
Yes,
yeah,
sir. The man Thomas
yeah.
Ian Griffiths. So he walked
That's a nice
by.
jacket.
It is. Yeah, he looked good. He interacted with the fans. He was asking people like, "Who loves Terry Silver here?" And people were cheering. And he took some photos with some guys. Unfortunately, I didn't get my own, but I got this shot of him walking by me right here, and it's just
It's nice.
Looking good.
I know it's Sans ponytail, but he has a great look. I love him in his glasses, in that jacket, man. You can see all the different the just that texture. I really like it. That it's not just a plain suit. There's a lot of threading there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Is that I don't who's this young man here?
I have
Was he
no
with him
idea
or
yet.
just okay?
No,
Yeah,
no,
he's
no.
a little young. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joe and
Joe.
OK walking by. That's gonna be Kyler and Sean for those I
Yep.
like the character names. Alicia Hannah
And
Kim, Sensei
yes,
Kim. Yeah, awesome.
she walked by. She was great. Also moving very fast, but she
Ah,
stopped for half a second to snap the photo, even though it's a little blurry. She looked great and sweet as can be.
I'm not gonna reveal her age, but I was a little surprised that her age was revealed in a recent article.
Oh,
And yeah, it's just one of those things like, oh, another cast member. I'm older than, just one of those reminders that like, I guess I am quote unquote old.
yeah.
Oh, it's been wild, but yep, there you go. I just found out Alicia is younger than me.
There you go.
All right.
And here
Who's
he
that dude
comes,
there in more blue? So more cast members in blue.
the Karate Kid himself. So
Looks like
definitely
somebody's
getting.
shouting at you. What's going on here with this guy? It's Ralph for those that are listening at
Oh
home.
yes, Ralph Macchio. Also kind of sprung out of nowhere. I almost missed it, and then all of a sudden, oh shit, there's Ralph. I don't know what I was looking at, but popped on right there on the red carpet, wearing blue, looking good.
Yeah, Julia has told his daughter. She told me blue's kind of his color, and so that's why I got him the a blue T-shirt, that I had commissioned of the me, him, and Billy from Paley Fest. And yeah, we'll print what you call this is it's kind of like a paisley, like a blue flower floral,
Yeah, something. It wasn't a
jacket.
straight blue, wasn't a solid blue, some
Yeah.
type of design, but you'll see another couple of photos a little closer, and he was
Yeah. Yeah, he's
looking
just kind of like,
good.
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure everyone was cheering for him. Ah, so is this out of order or was Brandon still kind
It
of
it
like,
may be. I think I put my selfies with a lot of the cast members
I see.
together. So yeah, here's me and Brandon
Which one?
Lee, me and
Yeah.
Julia Macchio,
Uh-huh.
me and
Who's
Billy
that stud?
Zapka, that guy. Stand still, Billy, so I can get a good one.
Oh, is that
Uh,
the only one? Is that the only one you got with Billy?
yeah, that's the best one. So,
Okay.
I've met him, so I wasn't too
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
disappointed.
At
But
least you got a good one over at Steel City, and
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like his hair, man. Look, his hair is kind of throw back to like more like season one. I mean, I guess
yeah,
his Johnny's hair hasn't changed for so much, but
not that
like
much.
I
Yeah,
yeah, but a lot of like interviews with Billy, I kind of see like this little the thing with his bangs there. I really like that. You know. All right,
and
Peyton List, who
Peyton
plays Tori.
List. Yep, real sweet, real nice. And okay, so this is afterward. We may be getting towards the end here. We were
Okay, awesome.
taken across to the Man's Chinese Theater where the fans were shown the screener of episode 13 and 14.
Right, man. How did oh 14 ended with God, what a hell of a way to end. It just occurred to me that it ended up with the yacht blowing up.
A boom. That's how our screening ended.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's crazy too because those first three episodes they ended it a little bit differently, a little bit, kind of lighter. Um, but yeah, it's 13. I don't remember how 13 ended, but 14 is the big cliffhanger with the yacht, and then obviously
So
yeah,
13
15 was
ended
the finale.
with the Thunderstruck with with Cobra Kai coming
Right.
back. That
Okay.
people
Yeah.
were like, it was like a concert. People were like
Yeah.
standing up, like, holy shit, Cobra Kai is
That's
back.
awesome. Ah, did you get footage of that? Or we could see any of those videos?
Well,
What were you
not of me.
in
So
there?
if you see a lot of the official site where they're doing some of those like reactions, when this scene happened, oh yeah, here's me on the official site.
Nice.
They're showing the reactions. That was the theater that I was in. They're showing some of the fan sites. So this is the big three coming at the very beginning where they were thanking the fans, and then they were giving a summary of what happens in episode 11 and 12 before they started showing us 13. It was a little unusual, but I understood why. Big movie theater, big premiere. Let's show the Seikai Takai, the action episodes. But
When when they were kind of getting you guys up to speed with episodes 11 and 12, was there anything that you can remember that stood out? The way they were explaining things where like, Hayden kind of doing the Hayden thing of explaining something that's maybe not exactly how it goes, but just to kind of be like, well, it's a sliver of there, like you guys will figure it out when we get there. Like any of those cute moments from TB3.
yeah,
You know
actually,
what I
no.
mean?
In this case, they had it written down what they wanted to say. They didn't want to like completely spoil the episodes. Like,
Okay.
they said Terry is sick. The tournament is coming back to the valley, which we knew. They said the baby was born, but that's it. Just like some very basic plot points of what's
Okay.
happened that far, and then they
That's
really
pretty much
just
all that
left it
happened.
up. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. They didn't talk about like Bobby and the wedding and all that.
Like,
They didn't
oh,
go there.
Kreese comes back and apologizes, but you guys are going to see that in episode 13. Miyagi
Yeah.
comes back too. He just follows everything. Oh, Lord. Okay. Did they give any uh, inklings to anything post episode 615 or the show's run, anything like that?
No, it was very quick because they had to run back because the cast members were watching the screening at, at the Egyptian theater. We were walked across the street to the man's theater, so I think they
Ah,
had to get back. So I mean, the whole thing was 2 minutes,
yeah.
and then
So
they
they had a private screening for the cast and crew and their families and whatnot.
right, which I
Got
didn't
it.
know till the end. I get it. It makes
Yeah, yeah,
sense to
totally.
have 200 fans go somewhere else to a different
I
theater.
I would have messaged Eugene, be like, can you please adopt me for like 3 hours?
Yeah, I didn't know. But
Let me
at
come
that
in.
point, I
Yeah.
was like, it's fine. I'll go sit with a whole group of fans and have some fun. So here's my
Well,
selfie with Ralph.
yeah, you held that one back. I thought that was all you got of Ralph was just him walking by from
Oh
afar. So you got
no.
a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, little fists here, just yeah, looking good there, Ralph. All right. There's
And
your is that the VIP ticket?
that is my that's my ticket
Oh,
to the
the
screener.
original ticket. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once they scanned our tickets to the red carpet, they just give us, the wristband, kind of like at a con.
Yeah.
And
There's that good lighting
there's
that
my
you're talking about.
professional photo with Sholo.
And then we see Daryl Vidal's wife behind you. Let's
Yes,
see if
his
I
family was
recognize
there.
anyone else. Yeah. That's all I recognize behind you guys. Okay, so you got a picture
Uh,
with Ron. Did not know that.
Ron
That's
Thomas.
awesome.
Yep.
Yep.
And there it is.
Why does Tamlin
Timlin and
look so
I.
cozy next to you? What is that
Uh,
about?
well,
What'd you
it's
do?
just the way
What
it
did you do?
is.
I guess. Yeah, it's a great photo. She looks lovely. You look great. Yeah,
It
I'm really
was
happy for you, Mike.
yeah, oh thanks. It was a great couple of moments, and I mentioned this in my live stream, but afterward, thank God like my brain was on and I didn't like just completely go brain dead. I was able to tell her that, her speech at
Yeah.
Ralph's Walk of Fame was just, it was everything, I think is what I said. It was just a beautiful speech and really heartwarming and just everything. And I think that meant a lot to her to hear that. So
Yeah.
it was a very cool couple of moments.
Yeah, that's really great. And I mean, you're not wrong about that speech. I brought it up to Julia because we talked about, the day of her dad getting that Hollywood star and
Yes.
yeah, it's the reciting the lyrics of Glory of Love that really did it for me. That's really
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, a picture of you
Uh,
and Rose
me and
Bianco. Yeah,
Rose, we
yeah.
got to have another
Ah,
couple of moments here.
I see a couple writers behind you. There's Joe Piroli and Llewellyn
Yes,
Thomas. Yep,
I
there
knew
it
I
is.
saw them.
Yeah. Okay, Courtney came back
That's
out, or is this part of that
that's
other
I think
people?
I took a cropping of one of my earlier photos just to
Got it.
show that she was there.
Yeah, your birthday
Here's
twin.
me and my twin, Josh Heald.
And you're much older than him, right? You're like 20 years apart or something.
Sure, we'll go with that. Moving on.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's just me.
Hotel? Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I
What's so
think
funny is
that's
you're wearing the same hat, so it's like, so I
yeah.
got you on one screen and you on the other wearing the same hat, both looking at me right now.
I'm wearing pretty much the same outfit that I was wearing that night too.
Yeah. And your head's cocked almost the same too. It's a little weird because I mean one's still and the other one's like moving and looking at me.
Yep.
That's awesome. And another one of
And
you and Ralph.
off. That's my ticket.
And
And
that's it.
yeah,
I
I
think that
think
was it. Yeah, there you
we're
go.
back to the beginning.
I'm gonna leave it on a well, no, actually I'm gonna stop the share so that way it's back to us and hopefully um that is it's back to us maybe. So Mike, thank you so much. I know it's extremely late on your side of the country and appreciate you staying up to share your incredible day. I got FOMO hard, like seeing some of this stuff. I haven't been to one premiere, and so to kind of live vicariously through you, yeah, it looks like you had an amazing night. Got some pictures with just about everybody. Um, what were I know you kind of talked about it as we were going through. So if you kind of could recall who were the ones that you were not able to get a photo with, Robin Lively was one.
Yeah, I didn't get one with Robin Lively. There were a couple folks, and you
Okay,
saw like Raina didn't get photos with them, but got photos of
close
them.
enough, yeah.
The only people who I did not see at all were did not see Mary or Tanner.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh, uh, did not see Vanessa, and did
Right,
not see, like I said, John or Hayden. I
right,
think
right.
that
Huh.
was pretty much it. And I don't know why, because they must have just gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the reason, but
If
that
if
was
they
it.
do the interviews before they go through where you see them, it's very likely those two we're like, no, let's answer these questions, doing some interviews. I don't know if there's a lot of those interviews out there, so it's hard to say. But I guess the other thing is like, well, you said Cholo was out there for a pretty good time, but maybe that's just him telling his handler, like, no, like I'm Miguel Diaz, like you're the Karate Kid of Cobra Kai, so like, yeah, he's gonna do his own thing. And maybe
Yeah.
Marion Tanner were like just doing all of those interviews out there. So it could be, yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Um,
Or by the time they came by, we were already being escorted off to the screening. I don't know, but
right, right.
a couple, but overall, a very successful night.
Yeah, I would
And
say.
it was very cool to see your set visit as well. I'd seen a couple of them that you've sent to me and the ones you've posted, of course, but to see the whole experience from beginning to end was very, very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's glad that got to visit again and meet some of those cast members. That did help, getting some of those interviews too. Brandon's character of Quan quickly became a fan favorite, and for the second batch, it was not gonna lie, it was a little bit harder to book him, but and that's why it took so long too. But yeah, it's just rubbing elbows on set really helped. So. Mike, for those that don't already follow you for some weird reason, where can they give you a follow so they can see some of the ones that you posted? Have you posted everything already or
Pretty
most of
much,
it?
yeah. They were all on my
Okay.
stories, which I've put on highlights. I took all the
Oh, okay.
selfies and posted them, and I also tried to create a reel with the non-selfie posts. So between that, I
Hmm.
have just about everything on my Instagram. But yeah, you can follow me Instagram and the Twitter at Cobra Kai Wisdom. Look forward to seeing you.
All right. For me, Cobra Kai Companion on Instagram, if you guys want to check out um, those images, I don't remember if I have it on a highlight as like set visit. I'm gonna have to go back and check, but most of those pictures have been posted. So there might be a set visit highlight, but yeah, check it. Cobra Kai Companion on Instagram and Cobra Kai Pod on X. So thanks again, Mike, for sharing all your stuff. Thank you to all the companions for your guys' continued support for all of these years. And yeah, just buckle up as the cast has been saying for like parts 2 and 3. We will be getting to our episode reviews in the very near future, and I sprinkle some of those interviews in between. I'm going to hold off on a lot of interviews to try to get these coverages done first. And we didn't speak to whoever's available afterwards. So we'll uh we'll catch you guys on the next episode.